Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hi. Sorry for being a little bit late. I was eating a bowl of spaghetti. My little bro made some spaghetti, so I'm like, you know what? Might as well eat some while it's still fresh, right? It was pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, it was tasty. I had to just make sure to eat it really quickly though. So my stomach's like, why do you eat so fast? But no, I had to do it. And I'm excited for today's climax in the stream. Of course. Though now I'm kind of worried if I have to fight the Witch King, but then again, maybe he's not gonna be that bad. Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad, right? Or maybe I gotta fight the Twin Empresses somehow for some reason. Or heck, even Arturia. Then again, she fought my wallet, so if I have to fight her, it's understandable. Oh, she hurt, but at the same time, you know, I still win because in the end I also got W. I just had to get to 300 of those points. But you know, it's fine. Worth it. Definitely worth it. And now to ZT9. How bad can it be in this void? Fantasia, the gift. Okay, 3 entrances, 2 exits, ain't not scary. This be fine. And I'm just gonna go with my normal team because I believe. I'ma believe in them. And if I'm wrong for believing, oops. Oh, back to the cursed staircase. Hergialo? Frau Drost? Ebenholz is uncertain when he got separated from the others. Crumbling structures fall periodically from above, and the stairs beneath his feet spiral endlessly. He can only move forward. He's alone. Indefatigable. Have fun walking the stairs, my boy. Out of the 3, I'm gonna give W the most tickets because she was the longest wait. And then I'm happy, at least later on this year I get a W again. But oh my goodness, this year's banners are gonna hurt so much. Like, gosh darn it. I want W. Of course. I also want all the collab people. It's okay. I'm just gonna have to ignore a lot of other banners unless they're limited. Yeah. And let's see. Witch King's Echo. You're a despicable Ebenholz. You've interfered in our judgment, wasted our time, and hindered our cause. You're practically the worst sinner there is. Forgive me if I don't look as sorry as I feel. So would you join us for an audience with His Majesty now? Or would you seek to prevent his return to the mundane world? You do not have what it takes. You could not do it. That should have been clear long ago. We should have known. Ooh, hello. How's it going? Pretty good. It's literally the calm before the storm. Apparently, starting tomorrow at 6 AM until the end of the week, there's gonna be a severe weather alert. Woohoo! I'm making sure to charge all my stuff right now just in case, you know. I also have some candles just in case. I am playing it safe. I also have a bunch of snacks that I got. So worst case, if my family can't cook anything, I got a bunch of cookies. Yes, cookies are delicious. I can eat them. They're almond cookies. I'm like, yeah, healthy enough, right? And then there's also some chips, which that's like me getting my grains. I'm so healthy. Haha. That should have been clear long ago. We should have known. It's obvious. His Majesty's blood is so strong. His soul so tenacious. The voice of Mundane was but a byproduct of his music. And yet it alone has brought you to your knees with the pain it inflicts. You were born weak, far too weak, to live up to any expectations. That is to say, you're the ones forcing those wretched noises into my head, into my mind. Then, in the end, it is me who bears responsibility for all this. You should be thankful, Ebenholz. Should they known from the beginning that the voice of Mundane wasn't the key to His Majesty's inheritance, would the twins have granted you the title of Graf Erdica? No, even before then, you'd have died in the cradle. These Witch King echoes are extra sassy. Like, holy cow, they're matching Ebenholz with his sassiness. I'm kind of amazed. W is still a cute nickname for her though, because it's still the start of her name that she gave herself. Like Isabel, that's cute, and then still W. Adorable. Or I can just call her, you know, the W in Isabel is not only just W as in her older name, but you know, it's also for wife. Yes, my wife. You should take pride in your title, but more than that, you should be ashamed of it. Ja, I feel the same. And so be gone! Ah, goodbye, Shadows. Never mind, hello, Shadows? You are hateful, Ebonholes. How many died under the Witch King's tyranny? How many disappeared without a trace? Lathenian is scarred, and even 23 years later, the wounds are still bleeding. But damn it! Only for the tyrants who die silently one night, never knowing any proper justice. And you, his last remaining descendant, you were born with the mark of sin on your blood. You should atone for him. Atone for all he did to a Lathenian. What right do you have to live in a comfortable life, Ebonholes, all while mocking yourself as an obvious nobody? I despise his sin tainted blood each and every day, the same as you do. No, you have no idea the evil is wrought. Those remnants steal into Urtica again and again, encircling your spire like flies to rotting meat. My youngest son had only just joined the security forces when he found their trail. His corpse bobbed in the ravine for 3 days before they found it. How will you hid away in your spire? Do you even know the size of the Urtica domain? What crops it produces? How often the tax collector comes from the capital? What disasters the land has suffered in recent years? There's no Lensher more hateful than you, your illustrious highness. Goodbye, Shadows. Ebonholes' journey on the stairs, he's just gonna be he's just gonna keep on getting roasted. Stop. Go no further. The braver you are, the more ridiculous you look. You are pitiful, Ebonholes. Ooh, hello, hello. Do you remember Gertrude? Before she died, she left some real nasty curses. She cursed Weisheim, Lathenian, the Witch King, and she cursed you. Her curse was, word for word, may the madness of Ebonholes' bloodline haunt him forever. When you came back to Schwillingstern, I thought to myself, damn, that madwoman's curse really came to pass. That stubborn kid couldn't escape the vortex of fate. Of course he would never give in to fate, but this time, he'll have to fall into madness to break free of it. You should feel relieved, shouldn't you? The voice of Mundane has troubled you for over a decade, but even more than resisting it, you've been carefully guarding it. You were guarding a bomb, afraid that it would blow at any moment, afraid that the wrong people could use it to hurt the innocent. That was a heavy burden, an extraordinary fate. But in the end, it was just noise, a totally non-lethal headache. Go home, Ebonholes. Gertrude's curse has already fizzled. 9. I can't bear it! Because this is an even more debilitating curse. In the end, your struggle isn't even worth mentioning. Your resistance is meaningless. Those who sacrifice themselves for this, those tears and smiles you've carried in your mind forever. Oh, hello, hello. How will you face them? You've come to realize that trust, pity, understanding, mutual reliance, all those incredibly beautiful emotions, they're not precious because they're rare. But they can suddenly turn so light, so weightless, like a joke. Ja, a joke. How could it be a joke? Another shadow down. Time to continue down this, or up the staircase? He looks into the spire. Ha, I knew it. I knew you'd be here. You've been dead so long, but you still fantasize about letting this wicked spire descend upon Lathenian again. Oh, hello, hello. My day's been decent. Oh, my legs still hurt, but it's okay. You know, no pain, no gain. Leg day every day. You won't succeed. I will use all my arts, wave my wand till it breaks, manipulate my originium dice until they shatter. If you still have flesh, I will destroy it. If you still have a soul, I will annihilate it. I will interrogate you, curse you, and I will kill you. Witch King? Oh, he made his way here. He got here... No, I can't say easier than the others. Franz, do not touch the notes in the air. The witchcraft I have integrated into the melody here, which I have deleted, still contains a terrible power that will last until it completely dissipates. Calm your emotions. Evade the will of the ancients from a millennium ago. Do not let your mind be distracted. Ebenholz tightens his grip on his wand, but cannot say a word. He has read all about the Witch King. Not too long ago, he was even imprisoned in this room. He knows his history. I'm just admiring the rings on top of the Witch King's hand. He has some pretty rings, and he also has pretty nails. Sometimes I want to paint my nails too, but then I get lazy. But sometimes I'm not lazy, so I'll use fake nails. The notes flow slowly about the space. The melody known as Syracusa is leaving the movement that is Lathanian. He hears what sounds like the booming of loud thunder, pouring rain, and surging wind. The will of Lathanian has turned into a power that matches heaven and earth, washing repeatedly over the small room. Even standing at the door, the surging energy presses firmly against his heartbeat. The man at the center of the room does not turn to look at him. He is focused and proud. He is a reef that stands above the turbulent waves. Ebenholz cannot help but suspect he has come to the wrong place. This looks more like the fateful night of a certain composer, or a most passionate lecture by a historian. There is no hatred here, no destiny, nowhere to place his anger. Ebenholz suddenly realizes one thing. He has never truly seen the Witch King in all of his life. I'm just staring at all those candles now too, because look at how many books there are. Look at that long sheet of paper. And just the candle flames. It could all end so badly. Not even in his most terrifying nightmares. Fremont, you're late again. I don't recall you being such a popular teacher. Did you find yourself waylaid by a crowd of students? Younger-looking Fremont. First, if a teacher's temperament makes you hesitate in the face of knowledge, that means nothing more than these youths claiming to be Lathanian's finest are in fact fit only to tend the ivy that climbs up her spires. Secondly, it is Ludwig's Universitat, not you, that grants me my scholarly stipend each month. I'm not at your beck and call. Or should I not talk back to His Majesty the Great Hercumtron like this? Fremont was always sassy. This isn't the first time, nor will it be the last. Next month, Perfurstin, from across the land will begin to arrive in Vidunian. Time is running out, Fremont. I hope that when their audiences conclude, they will each take copies of the amended Goldeneskasats back to their respective crease. You're known far and wide as an exceptional monarch, even called a once-in-a-millennium ruler by the sheep and the deer. Are you really so eager to set your own prestige in stone? What's next? Bringing the Kurfürsten's armies and civic powers under the direct control of the Imperial Spire? We've already discussed this. When I first arrived in Lathanian, the Kaiser at the time was already troubled by the Syracusan question. How long has it been? Now, the wolf pups dare not make but slightly bigger moves. And yeah, the twins do take after him, like, looks-wise. Like, a lot. You've only just ascended. Why not take some time to choose your robes for the upcoming ceremony? I've already chosen. Are you still worried that amending the Goldeneskasats and the accompanying policies could plunge the realm into unforeseen turmoil? I don't care what happens to Lathanian, but moving my library would be a tremendous pain. You've been studying the movement ever since you became Kurfürst of Einwald. We both know precisely what it is. and why no one dared consider amending it for 1,000 years. The three main sections, the tenfold melody woven into one. It's a truly superior piece of witchcraft, created by the arts masters of a prior millennium. It is a supreme will of Athenian infused with the power of countless sages into the creation, contemplation, and protection of the land. It is as close as we could possibly come to eternity. Eternity? Setting aside the Minoan philosophers, musing on the question of whether or not a man can step into the same river twice. I think only the liches are particularly fond of using that word. And only you people truly understand its meaning. Eternity. The immutable, the immovable. But eternity does not mean immortality. Indeed, the sages who created the movement 1,000 years ago accomplished an impossible feat. That is when this land came to be known as Athenian. But it's more than just the name of a country. The idea of Athenian is what allows the people here to both prosper and suffer together, and bring elegance, harmony, morality, and beauty into every breath we take. They of a millennium ago created a superior vision for the country, making the Athenian into a truth of the land. But all truths eventually decay, and our current friction with Syracuse is the greatest proof of that. But I will bring a better future to Athenian.
The new Athenian ruler produces the movement and looks at the lich. Eternity, immortality. Hercumshorn's voice is not heavy, but Fremont hears the hefty words shatter and resemble between his lips and teeth.
How arrogant of you! How very Hercumshorn! But how can you ensure that the Athenian, under your rule, won't face even greater crisis? That the future you're bringing will be truly immortal? There is no composition that can't be written, no arts that can't be surpassed, and no will that can't be overcome, no matter what, no unknown that can't be conquered. Immortality lies in renewal. To this day, both the ocean and the sky remain shrouded in the fog of cognition, and this continent is a limit of what Terrans can know and perceive. But the knowledge you've shared tells us that even the loftiest clouds and the deepest sea trenches are nothing but reality, imprisoned by time and space. And beyond this reality, there exists another side of the world, a realm of emptiness, elusive and dangerous. If the questions are endless, then so too must be the answers. The Graf Spire in Utica is too small, so I built the Genesis Spire in Vidunian. It is already the tallest in Athenian, but not necessarily across all the lands. But I will never stop. That is the difference between myself and the sages past. That is immortality, Fremont. I hope that when you build a new spire, you'll make a few extra rooms so that you won't need to use my own secret chamber just to modify a piece of music. I will. Now then, let us begin. I will activate all the resonance capture devices. It will all be clearer once we dismantle the melody later.
Hercumshorn sits firmly in the chair in the center of the room. Unfolding the movement, Fremont nudges aside priceless ancient tomes to make room for the witchcraft matrices.
By the way, Fremont, what is it you call the other side of the world? Sarkaz, the beginning and the end of all threads. A pretty name. I mean, a petty name. Their phylactery grants liches an almost unique ability among the races, concealing that phylactery means that a life would not end. With infinite time, liches are allowed to glimpse the infinite truths of the world. But do you treat them as merely pages in a tome of knowledge? Caution is in our nature. The more we discover, the fewer spaces we can live. Right then, Fremont, what about you? Me? The beginning and end of all threads. You often complain that the liches under your command are either too young or too hidebound. But have you ever considered entering that space, rather than treating it as simply a drawer in which to hide your phylactery?
It's like, wow, you brought up a good point. I never thought of using it. You know, I should do just that. A terrible chill sweeps over Fremont. A faint but dazzling light blooms atop Hercumshorn's scepter. He has already begun to play the Golden Escasats. Fremont's hands have not stopped either. Lich and Capernae, King of the Royal Court and Kaiser Latanian, they've always moved in tacit agreement. Even in the tensest moments, the two could insert discussions on various topics, philosophy, music, and sometimes even the climate and cuisine of Lithuanian. Her comforts had raised the matter so naturally, the true secret threatening the mortality of the liches. If he used his exile to its fullest extent, the life threads could dissolve all these notes in an instant, annihilating the defenseless man before him. No one else knew the Lithuanian Kaiser had come here. He would have enough time to tell the Lich Court to flee the country, but Her Kampfschorn had raised it so naturally, casually bringing up the secret that had remained hidden all these long years. After a long while, Fremont burst into a hearty laughter.
Wonderful. As it happens, I've also encountered some bottlenecks in my study of that space. If you're really interested, Her Kampfschorn, I could lend you my phylactery. That's enough, Her Kampfschorn. Don't you find that nostalgia nauseating? It's enough to make me want to vomit last night's leftovers. Besides, I'm running out of time.
It's like, ew, stop reminiscing. I'm not into all that sappy stuff. Let's skip the recap episode. Boop.
That's basically what he's doing.
Oh, it's funny. So far, the Witch King, or at least back then, the Witch King wasn't sassy.
But they
said that he did become sassy.
It's been a while, Fremont. I'm sure you remember what you've borrowed. The time has come to return it.
Uh-oh, what are we fighting? The gift. The first thing these two dudes do when they finally reunite is fight, as one do. I understand that. Okay, time to get my setup ready. Okay. Setup is good so far. Should bring out a healer. Yeah, healers are good. Healers are smart. Healers keep you healthy after all. Or the music is so slow. I kind of want to make it speedy now. Oh wait, I can't do that yet. Eventually I'll make it speedy. I'll keep him there. Why not? Speedy? Nope, not yet. Speedy eventually. Hello, hello. Okay, it's still in the purple slowness. Which is fine. It doesn't need to be fast. Cries. Just take care of the top. And then me. Excuse you? Oops, I should be using these skills. You know, that'd be nice, that'd be smart.
Oh no!
How dare you?
Oh, that is so rude.
How freaking dare you? You don't go getting rid of my people like that.
So incredibly rude.
Ah well. This be fine. I lied.
No!
I should redo it anyways. It's not like I want to use this run to farm. It's already kind of disastrous. Me. At least only one got away. Not too bad. But it's always the one.
Franz, steady your breathing. You're gonna crush your originium dice into powder. Their former owner, Bielefeld, was a rare great caster of earthen hair who lived a century ago. He once used the dice to control the wind and lightning in the central valleys of Gaul, masterfully sinking the indomitable flagship of Corsica, Korsaka the First, and ruining the enemy's formation in a single stroke.
Ooh, hello, hello.
The Battle of the Four Emperors. Indeed, it was a delightful victory. The Gaulish men couldn't even manage to cobble together a complete banner. The lamentations of the fleeing and the cheers of the victorious alternated, like a grand duet. Unfortunately, we lost Bielefeld in the subsequent attack on Lingonez. I saved those dice as a tribute to him, in his honor. If the will of a caster wavers like the grass in the winter, how could he ever hope to control the wind and lightning?
Ebenholz remained silent. The Witch King's tone is calm, even gentle. It was a feeling not unlike he had discovered a child who'd stolen an old item from his home, stopped him, and explained the item's provenance after the necessary scolding.
How long have you been gone, Franz?
Gone? The weakening golden melody seeks an exit from the secret chamber, with Ebenholz and the Witch King standing outside the door. Before them lies a steep dark red staircase. Might as well go exploring.
This is the Graf Spire in Erdica.
A series of changes have taken place since the Weissenheim incident, and he had been gone for over a year, but he could never forget this place.
Do you dislike these stairs? These carpets, blood red, engraved with dark patterns beneath the pristine handrails. The messengers who came from the capital every once in a while, exchanging glances. The servants standing in every corner. Sorry, it's hard to like them. Right. When I was your age, I would wake up in the middle of the night and take these stairs to wake up my tutor.
Oh! Imagine being the tutor. You're just like, okay, time to finally rest. And then all of a sudden, the person you're tutoring is like, hey you, wake up, I'm bored. It's like, fine. The Witch King ascends the stairs. The sound spreads far down the long corridor as the lamps alongside the walls light up one by one, illuminating the path beneath the feet of the spire's owner. Between the lamps float interconnected intricacies of witchcraft. The tutor sent by the empresses, was intended to perform poorly, so many a night Ebenholz would sneak into subtler corridors to practice. He unconsciously followed the Witch King. For a moment, he seemed to think that the man was still living in the spire, only waking up in the middle of the night to head to the door, for whatever unknown reason.
The short-horned Elafia opened the door. I didn't go in. I stood in the doorway and asked him. Over the course of 3 months, I reviewed the 634 scores collected throughout this ancient spire, all composed by famous musicians and grand casters.
Oh, that's a lot.
I took the melodies apart, including those that were incomplete or unplayable. Why is it that the art of which Lathanian is so proud, accumulating the beauty of elegance and harmony of 1,000 years, flows with dead melodies and crusty notes? I turned this sculpture by the door into a sandbox, quickly deducing this situation for the next century. Iberia would form an alliance with the sea. Victoria's steel knights would spew steam. Boots coated with mud and blood, would tromp into foreign lands. The Gaulish irises would bloom in the deep forest of Einwald. But what of Lathanian? The country's horns and fangs have rotted nearly right out of their heads. First with Syracusa, then with Sturmland. Moss and vermin infest every nook and cranny of the spires. Why do you turn a blind eye to all this? 9. Why do you not know of it? The short-horned Elafia was still half asleep, but more detestable than the sand still sprinkled, unwiped in the corners of his eyes, was his long silence, the fear and emptiness he tried to hide. He claimed to be the most knowledgeable man in Erdica, and even all of Einwald, but he couldn't answer a single question. Then you kicked him out of the spire, and his entire house fell into decline. I've heard the story. Just for that, you truly are unreasonable! Junge, if I were you, those hypocritical servants who secretly partook in the wine cellar would never drink a drop of water again. They would feel the pain of their throats cracking inch by inch until their deaths. As for the teacher who tried to mold me into useless rubbish, he would find himself impaled by arts dozens or hundreds of times stronger than his during one of those perfunctory demonstrations. His expression of fear could be frozen into a fine sculpture. The foolish ministers who tried to manipulate me with a melody would be manipulated themselves, and the obvious contradictions between the twins, black and gold, could be exploited. Exploitation without purpose, arbitrarily taking lives. In your own words, those heinous acts are completely meaningless. Witch King, the purpose of a stairway is to lead you to a higher place.
Oh, back to this staircase.
I despise these stairs as well, but because they are too short, Graf Erdika's spire is so small and with such narrow view. Franz, you see the spire is a cage, so how will you break free of it? How will you defeat your enemies? Who are your enemies?
You are despicable ebonholes. You are hateful ebonholes.
You are pitiful ebonholes. Is it them? 9. 9, of course not. Then, is it the Witch King? Is it the nightmare that's troubled you for a lifetime?
Nightmare? The increasingly empty house, the white-haired child holding his trembling hand on his knee, softly singing a song that begins with, "The sky is blue and fine." The sound of the cello spread out like an endless grassland, while the sound of the piano turns into a flowing stream. He washes away all weariness, allowing him to walk a long way, with the dark of night no longer so heavy. He often dreamed of these things. Dreams are already fleeting, and if he has to miss these beautiful moments, he would rather never sleep.
9. I have never dreamed of you. Memory.
Memory? Valdes Hexenturns, Triumph der Goldmond, Warpspiel zu Schulingssturm. The theaters across the country must perform certain plays each quarter, all with similar themes. With Erdika being the old tyrant's homeland, such plays are put on twice as often. And as Graf of Erdika, he was required to attend all of them. How many times did he sit in the audience, watching the Witch King perish during a duet of justice, shortly before leading a standing ovation? I want to see those plays. Statues in the streets. Illustrations in books. He has seen countless Witch Kings. Without exception, a mysterious light surrounded their twisted horns, and even their voices had a strange tremor, as sinister effects were added to them. They were quick to anger, cruel, bloodthirsty, with grotesque and exaggerated expressions under their masks. Not one of them, but not a single portrayal, matched the appearance of the man before him.
The ambitions of the masses need adornment. Their desires need release. Their hatred need relief. And you, Franz, the larger the shadow that obscures your fate, the more your failures have to stand on. Every one of you is happy to imagine such a Witch King, for the purposes of that attribution. Imagining, you say? The cruel decrees, the inhuman experiments, the fires of war, all the suffering you inflicted, the countless innocent lives lost, all of it. You call that imagined? We're talking about you, Franz. You never made the slightest effort to represent the people you now claim have died.
A sudden headache washes over him. Much like the nights, he was haunted by the voice of Mundane. On those nights, he could only grip his flute desperately. He felt as though he was dying, so he would exert all his strength to curse the man before him, until his surroundings became clear. But the voice of Mundane is long gone, so why does the pain still flow? Ebonhost cannot see his own bloodshot eyes, but the layer of the red webbing in his field of vision becomes increasingly heavy. Pain stirs all memories, tearing through all emotion as if trying to draw everything out of his head to transform into something tangible. Nightmares, memories, imagination.
Look back on your rather short life. Countless times you've cursed the name entwined with your own. That indelible mark Could it all have been nothing more than facing the void, looking into the mirror?
Stare too long into the void and the void looks back at you. Or stares back at you, haha.
The Witch King is dead. By the time you were born, by the time of that night 23 years ago, and his death was genuine. What meaning is there in calling a dead man your enemy? The terrifying experiments of your childhood, the pain that's lingered throughout your life, the cold eyes and mockery of so-called representatives and servants, the criticisms and accusations of others. Do you still dwell on these things? 9. You know that very well compared to what I've lost. All those are insignificant. Correct, you don't care. You really are upholding the promise you made to him. You're prepared to walk through the long night, bearing it all. But Ebonholes, why after all this time are you still in such pain? Accepting a punishment is not the same thing as finding redemption. Why can't you forgive yourself, the man who has always been protected, to the very last? Why can't you let go of the sacrifices they made for you? Why do you continue to indulge in self-flagellation, unable to move forward? Because there might yet be an even more precious commitments, even greater sacrifices, even deeper regrets, and even longer suffering ahead. You can't help but doubt, you can't help but fear. So then Ebonholes, who is your enemy?
But Ebonholes, if you don't move toward the light, we can never walk out of that night. And the night itself is meaningless.
The night itself is meaningless.
You are your own worst enemy.
Sehr gut, Franz. You've defeated your enemies, and have broken free of the spire that was your prison.
The Witch King waves his hand, and the golden melody, as if finally released, flows toward the door like so many harmless fireflies, quietly drifting in the river of history. They pass by Ebonholes, brushing against his clothes and hair with a touch ever so gentle. Ebonholes suddenly feels a baffling sensation, as if the Witch King had patted him on the head. Ebonholes cannot control himself. He bursts into laughter.
So after all of my tremendous efforts to storm Genesis' horn, I end up winning the praise of His Majesty the Witch King.
He laughs at the image of himself. At his own embarrassment, he laughs at the past 19 years, realizing he has never laughed this heartily. Even if thunderous rage were to punish him for his lapse at the very next second, and headaches were to him back into the abyss, or even if he were to shatter into pieces, he wants to keep laughing, but nothing happens. The endless staircase, the spire of Ertica, even the Witch King, it all vanishes. Nothing remains but an empty throne. Ebonholes stands before the throne in silence, waiting for the unreal sensation to fade away completely. Time to continue the journey.
You've been watching long enough, Sancta.
In his laughter, I felt a sense of melancholy and liberation. The character at the center of this drama finally confronts all that he's been through, whether scripted or in life. If he finds a new goal, he carries on steadfast.
What about you? You were the first to enter my pavilion, even before Fremont.
Nathaniel, the pavilion, my palace. Thanks to Yulia, I got a glimpse of what it looks like. It reproduces all that Nathaniel has ever taken pride in. The spires adjoin the millennia, the knowledge, art, and power accumulated over generations, undiminished by time. There is nothing else like it, an immense project beyond human capability. In fact, I speculated on it even before. The soldier, the painter, the scholar, the tuner. I've met each of those who personally witness Der Tag des Hexenkönigs. That night made the deepest impression on their lives. They were entangled by it, trapped in the contradictions of their times and themselves. Through them,
I reconstructed the last melody you left in the mortal plane. Hoarse and cacophonous, impossible to interpret through conventional music theory, the melody couldn't possibly point to a legacy to inherit, as your followers had expected. It was never meant for the mortal plane. The echoes painstakingly collected by the people of Lithanian are the bricks and mortar of this palace, another form of construction material you left behind. They would ultimately be found by others, but who could uncover their purpose? Fame, honor, wealth, an individual, a house, a class. These shallow motifs run throughout all melodies across all lands. The meaning of music has always been so narrow. Sancta, unlike those foolish ministers, you come from the so-called holy city and are unconcerned with Athenians' past and future. Nor are you a lich, unaware of the existences of Kargarake. You do not walk the path that Fremont does. Why are you here? Before I explain my purpose, I have a question. At this very moment, as we stand here, are you only a strand of the strings trembling in rigor mortis? A patchwork of flickering lights, subjectively colored by emotion, one of the countless fragments of consciousness? Or are you the fully intact Witch King? I had meant to play you. The physical rules underpinning sound cannot be realized in Kargarake. However, the place I stand does not acknowledge the rules of Kargarake. The loss of sound is your own limitation and has nothing to do with the pavilion. Music is your eyes, your ears, and your heart, your everything. You think you've lost all perception, yet desire is stronger. You are a dull yet interesting observer. Arturia releases her grip on the cello and simply looks at the Witch King. His entire life, all he has been through, his thoughts and emotions collectively resonate through this space, filling every cubic inch. This is the palace he has built for himself. You walked in, you see what he sees. Oh, and now back here. Arturia sees what she had read in the old Lich's memories. The blackness. Infinite blackness, or rather, chaos. Human understanding of this word often comes from the negative emotions associated with it. Confusion, disorientation, sadness, anxiety, fear. In reality, it normally refers to the state that is difficult to describe, or an object or concept that cannot be established. But this is the only word that can describe the scene before Arturia. Desolation. A land of annihilation. What sits behind this material world? The vector of collapse. No visible boundaries, no discernible direction. Sound, light, shape, color. Things that do not belong in the same dimension mix, stack, and stretch. The cursed life forms and their environment are symbiotic. Even mutual bodies. Annihilation is the only ecology here. Chaos surrounds the Witch King's palace, like sunlight and air surrounding a bubble that could burst with a touch. The Witch King's spire stands in the center of the palace, with originium crystals growing from its base like moss between the bricks, but such moss covers the entire palace, connecting seemingly irregular spires and other buildings, compromising some vague formation. Chaos invades the outermost cluster of spires, like a rising layer of mist. Once the mist dissipates, der Viner, Erterm, and Dieter, Diswissens, no longer exist. Clearly, the palace is gradually emptying, but its boundaries remain, as if adhering to predetermined rules. Oh, and now it's these dudes again. My casters, my musicians, do not resist a storm of lightning and dust. In years past, they destroyed the Gaulish fleets, and now they will push back this chaos. Celestial phenomena and calamities join the symphony, as Originium shapes new connections for you. Your bodies and consciousness will become a part of the instruments, springs, and troop formations. Fill the gaps, reform the lines. Kargarake is beyond comprehension. Demons cannot be captured. Incompetence is nothing but cowardice. Return all intelligence to the spire for analysis. Confront it, comprehend it, conquer it, in the name of Lithanian. Vibrate the strings of our lives until they break.
The king of casters stands proudly on his throne, with all the spires at his command. The founding of a nation occurs simultaneously with the push and pull of war, as it did in Athenian history. Amid the unending chaos, the Witch King is the only comprehensible order. And Arturo is just here watching. Your enemy is terrifying, so incomprehensible. Is the Athenian your unwavering cause? Even death cannot end it. Just as her Fremont predicted, your palace is suffering an irreversible collapse. Do you regret it? If you hadn't become a tyrant, if the mutinous army hadn't seized your spire, if death hadn't ended your study of Kargarek, would you have had the time to make this palace more stable, unshaken by chaos? Do you ever wonder, if you weren't the Witch King, if you didn't stand on the shoulders of all Athenian, could you master arts and knowledge beyond the reach of mere mortals? Could you surpass reality itself? Could you build your own spire within Kargarek?
Your questions are meaningless, Sangcha. I have no regrets and I do not wander. I do not fear monsters, nor do I fear becoming one.
Then, Your Majesty, I come in search of confirmation.
Confirmation? It has been a long time since someone spoke to me of such things.
I seek from you the greatest answer a human heart can seek. A future. An ideal future. Well, good luck with that, Artoria.
Why are you standing there like a fool? Was the blow too hard? Do you have brain damage? What's your excuse? Oh, what a comeback! A rude little goat you are. You saw him too. Did you win? Win? In this ruined place, I could fight that man innumerable times, debate him for innumerable years. But how could I win a debate with an echo? How could I kill a dead man? Then we might as well leave. Leave? Aha! You really want to turn and walk away, after everything you've suffered on your journey, even as you stand right before the throne? I'm here, I've seen it. The throne is empty, but the spire is still here. This strange, distorted, dangerous place. It still hangs over the heads of countless people. You're the most powerful lich. Tell me, what should I do? How can we once again topple the Genesis Spire? There's only one way, the same way it was done 23 years ago.
Break out into a duet. This time it'll be Fremont and Ebenholz. Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be an intriguing duet. I wonder what they play. What a beautiful sunset. Lysolot, why are you hiding here again? I'd rather not stay with the envoys of Kfirsten. They speak so cruelly of post-war matters right in front of us, as if we're already dead. Her Fremont says the odds of surviving the battle are less than 1 in 10. Since the day that we were born, every test we've taken has surpassed the expectations of those old men. But the battle with Hercumshorn isn't another test. It's the only chance we have. Then we will seize that chance. We have Hercumshorn's witchcraft, Gaulish technology, and the Lich's blessing within us. We are more perfect, more powerful than anyone else alive. But we can still die. They haven't turned us into immortal war machines. They gave us human bodies and feelings, making us like unto them, pushing us toward that end since the beginning. Let's think about something happy, Hildegard. If we really can kill Hercumshorn, what would you want to do? You don't need to say it, I already know. You want freedom. Every time you pick up the sword, it's for the same reason. We can't stand those arrogant nobles, the ones who don't even trust us like people. You never could. What about you? You can guess, I'm sure. Who knows me better than you? Aw, now it's them.
The sun is about to set. Soon, all the clouds will fade away with the last thread of golden light. We need to destroy the Genesis Horn, quickly. Are you giving up? You conspire with the Lich to use it to obtain Hercumshorn's ultimate power, right? That power, getting it under control would mean granting Athenian her sharpest sword. But Fremont and I have tried so many different methods to force her way into that space. It's really something. The one who finally managed to open the way was an outsider. Whatever her motives, she has given us a chance. I would not allow an unknown threat to continue looming over the Athenian, of course. I would rather it descend more safely and discreetly, but at least we can end it now. If you've made up your mind, the Liches will show you to the throne of the Witch King. Young Lich, you've been here all along? Don't misunderstand me. The Athenian's eternal grace, I am but a lowly messenger. Kill me. You will gain nothing but a thread scattered on the wind. I have received a message from the Master. He is presently within the Genesis Horn. Only by joining forces with the austere authority to once again strike down the power of Hercumshorn will you disperse the dark clouds hanging over Strollingstern. Very well then. But the Master also warns that the Genesis Horn is as unstable as you and he both anticipated. Once Hercumshorn's power dissipates, the spire of the Witch King within the void will collapse. Losing the barrier between reality and Kargarake may cause a more serious problem. When the final moment comes, your choice will decide the fate of the Athenian, as it ever has. Is this really his closure already? I thought there'd be more to his closure, actually. It's kind of sad if that really is the closure. Just some roasting. But a single thread. Liches always come and go with the wind. Free enough to be oh so irritating. Michael. I'm here. Find the Lich before, and the young man raised by Fremont. Do what you can to protect the people in the amphitheater. In the off chance that... There is no off chance! You and Ephigaganade will surely return victorious. Once more, what is our mission? To eliminate any threat to the Athenian at its source. Good. The Guestless Watchers stand ready. Remember, your signal is my command. When the time comes, if there are no new orders, they will act. Grimacht. Go. Ja. Blesselot. We should move out too. Both the Liches and the Kerfurston, always talking about the fate of the Athenian. What about our fate? We've been here, atop the two tallest spires in the Athenian for over 2 decades. Does the Athenian really belong to us, or are we still just her chosen vessels, carrying the fate of the country on our sword and shield? Let's deal with the problem at hand first. That's a sentence I've heard too many times now. Our duet remains tacit, but this is the way we were born, no? So long as we play, we cooperate. That is the mission we have been given. No matter the time, we will always have our understanding. Indeed, I have no doubt that we will once again achieve victory. Once again achieve victory for the Athenian. But sooner or later, you will have to face me, to answer me. Hildegard, will we kill Hercumshorn again? What will you want to do? You're taking such great risks to bring the future to the Athenian, but what is that future? We'll find out the future soon enough. Ah, piercing noise. Ack, it's getting louder. You can't kill the echoes. They died a long time ago. And they're emerging from another space. The twins are ready to enter the Genesis Horn. The spatial turbulence will be more intense there. We'll need to use strings to hold the horn, but who knows how long we can drag it. Go. This is something only a Lich can do. As for me, I must cover the old man and Ebenholz's retreat. Only by blocking these dark things can the people be safe. That's the only way those who enter the Genesis Horn can return safely. Do you need me to stitch up your wounds for you? 9. The pain keeps me awake. I nearly forgot, right? That's what allows you to move undisturbed by the notes, unlike the other Athenians in the amphitheater, who've mostly succumbed to the altered tune of the golden Neskasats. That's a good thing too. If they heard the sounds of the remnants emanating from the land of the dead, they lose their minds. The Guestless Watcher and the Twin Empresses are doing what they can to weave melodies and defend the people's sanity. Once the Kaiserinen stops playing and enter the Genesis Horn, only the Guestless Watcher will be left. Their arts are very strong, but arts are arts. How can they resist the chaos of the void? The same goes for you, Lessing.
Both your body and your will are being consumed. Your blood will run dry.
Are you saying that I'm not an immortal lich?
So what if you were? It is precisely because we're liches that we understand the absolute nature of chaos. It's like unto boundless knowledge.
Then, what should we do? Admit our insignificance and helplessness, do nothing, and wait for a greater power to crush us? Wait for your chaos to devour us? I won't. I'd rather take my life into my own hands and listen to the sound of the last drop of blood falling from my wounds as I collapse.
Humph, stubborn. I still remember all those years ago when the Master rescued you from the Gendarmerie. We all thought you were minutes from death. You were so small, so thin, so fragile. Like you would shatter if touched by a strand of thread. But you survived, covered in scars, with a temperament more and more like a master.
Danke. It was you who helped me survive. Just like the liches have helped Lithanian for so many years.
The twins are moving. I should find the other liches. Lessing, my unorthodox little brother. I'll listen to your voice in the wind. I just hope what I find with my threads won't be your dying breaths. Nah, he'll be fine. Sharp noise. The dead don't feel pain or exhaustion. They surge endlessly from the cracks between reality and chaos, repeating the last howl they gave before death.
Once the movement is gone, will it be just you making such noise? It sounds truly awful.
He slowly unwinds the wrappings on his longsword. The cloth is long enough to use to cover his ears, but he doesn't do that. After so many years of hard work, Lessing has grown accustomed to focusing all his attention to the edge of his blade.
The theme of Lithanian will be rewritten by each and every one of us. And before that, it's just a battle. Victory or defeat, life or death, none of it bears consideration.
And now for the next part.
わかった
The final fight, I presume.
Okay, let's see. How scary will it be? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entrances and 1 exit. Oh, that's not bad, actually. I can defend it with my life.
GG, easy.
Heck, I'm gonna be... No, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna actually bring someone. Because it's not like I'm gonna farm this. I would not want to farm that.
Or maybe I do.
I'll see the rewards later. Phew, you scared me.
Vivian, what are you hiding under the covers for? Are you writing a letter?
Shh. Tante Cora is about to come. She'll be angry if she sees me awake at this late.
Who are you writing to?
Vati. I pestered Tante Cora for 2 weeks before she finally agreed to sneak me out to a poetry recital at Ludwig's Universitat. And I want to tell Vati all about it. I was gonna write tomorrow, but I'm afraid it'll be too late by the time we get back. Not that I have any way to send them. I'll just store them somewhere safe, along with all my night novels.
But why?
Since I decided not to eat candy anymore, I have to put away those childish fantasies too.
I could never decide not to eat candy. She's stronger than me. For real, for real. But didn't you always want to be like those knights? With their shining sword spears sparkling in the sun? Didn't you want to visit that radiant, glowing country?
They're too far. It's all just too far away. Moody's not here anymore, and Vati. He's by himself. I'm on my own too. I don't want to be too far from him. I asked Tante Cora how long it'd take for us to get back to Sturmland from Zwillingstern. The fastest route would only be 2 days, so if Vati needs me, I can always...
But your Vati doesn't even know you stay behind.
He'd definitely be mad if he did. But I don't regret my choice. I begged Tante Cora to help me stay here in Lithanian, instead of following her to the Granite territory like he told me to. Even if I had to hide, even if he can never know. Tante's helped us so much. My Muti said that she's super strong, super brave, and super gentle. But even so, I'm sure she needs people by her side too. She's always been by herself. I can't do much, but I can at least hold her hand.
I know exactly what you mean.
Viviana, I can't say you've made a bad choice. You're giving up on more things, but at the very least, you have fewer regrets. It's Tante Cora. I think someone stopped her to talk.
I'll go take a look. You should get to bed. A rare event has a Twin Empress's favorite actually come here of her own accord to meet with us dregs. Finally made up your mind. All because of the Hoshberg girl. Viviana is too sensible for her own good. She takes after both Lucinda and Werner. If I had a daughter myself, I can only hope that she'd be as tough as kind-hearted as her. That day in the car, she suddenly begged me to let her stay, and I thought, maybe things would work out better this way. Better for Werner, and better for me. With her around, I can feel myself gradually calming down this time. When I pass by Carl Schmidt Street, sometimes I feel like I can see the marigolds again, blooming all over the street, as if the flowering season will never end. But her current situation says it all. As grand a Kerfurs as he may have been, he was incapable of saving his own beloved daughter. Leithanian's illness still constrains all those who have sacrificed everything for the country's so-called rebirth. Its terminal rot has lived and strived, barring the citizens from their freedom. Still, I'm elated to hear that her presence here has helped you come to a decision, Concertmaster. No, Cora, I didn't come here to... This shouldn't be happening. Ooh.
Everything before her eyes dissipates. Once again, Viviana finds herself on a spire staircase. She had thought that an earlier solace would prevent the inevitable, so that tragedies wouldn't have to fall upon the lamentable woman behind the door. Or at the very least, that she could say her goodbyes before it was too late. Countless doors simultaneously open up before her. They line up in succession, meandering towards an unclear horizon. She recalls every Viviana who was behind each of those doors. She sees every candle in its firelight through each of the frames. Her parents, or perhaps she herself, make a different choice each time. Life after life, possibility after possibility. If Muti and Vati didn't have to hide their love for each other, if everyone had accepted us, then maybe they'd all have blessed my birth instead. Could we have been happy forever? If Vati could manage to rid himself of all his identities and duties, and live a simple, ordinary life with Muti, could we have gotten a much better ending?
If you'd contacted Mickey sooner, and used the KGCC's resources to return to Sturmland even a day earlier, could you have at least seen him one last time? If people could see you as someone ordinary, looked at you without scrutiny, mockery, or pity. If you'd found a more perfect image, or just the right words, if you'd written the brilliant marigolds and gentle silhouettes before you, if you could just be accompanied by books in peace, would it have been less painful? You deserve a better life than this, Viviana, if there really is one. But why? What is every last one? Leave me so disappointed.
Viviana hears the sounds of something moving. Doors collapse, distant but clear, like snow losing its grip on a mountaintop, the beginning of an avalanche.
Is there such a thing as a second chance?
She walks toward the nearest door, a new one, just like every other she has walked into.
Will there be a better choice behind this door? A more satisfying resolution? Fewer regrets?
With that in mind, she's already opened the door. Ah, the void.
The Genesis, the Schulingssturm. Space is extremely unstable. Julia Schuler, your premonition was correct. I understand that you won't leave, so please stick to the resonance pipes as much as possible to keep yourself safe.
What about you, her executor?
I must find Artoria, the sooner the better.
Frog Yellow should have already met the person she wanted to.
She is a dangerous individual and should come back to me with me to Laterano. But if she truly seeks the Witch King, then she could be in danger right now.
Federico turns around and looks into the distance. Ever since Yulia activated the retrofitted resonance pipes, the scenery around them has gradually cleared up, both near and far. And with that, Artoria's destination is no longer in question. At the far edge of his sight stands a gigantic black tower, interwoven with scarlet and surrounded by a cluster of spires he's never seen before. Her executor, before we go our separate ways, can you tell me how John is doing these days?
He's encountered some common growing pains. Loris Borden left him a sum of money, but judging by his own wishes, he may very well leave Lithuania and make a living in another country.
And that's fine too. That boy's head has always been swimming with ideas.
Signora Schuler, you appear to have more questions for me.
The Capernaum woman quickens her footsteps and just slightly as Federico continues at his usual pace, giving her a slight lead. Loris, is he already dead?
I never said.
Her executor, you're clearly the type to dive headfirst into your work without a second thought. But you seem particularly concerned with my affairs. You wouldn't willingly put your mission on hold like this for no reason. I've heard from Loris how Laterano's Notorial Hall works and...
His will. Prior to dusk, Kaiser Innenfest, Loris Borden died in the sewers near Bodenshoff's Forest Park, while trying to prevent the Witch King's remains from inciting revolt. His final message before his death was a phone call in which he expressed his hope that someone else would take over the Julia Schuler case. For 15 years, he resented the city of Schulingssturm, loathed his work at the Gendarmerie, and treated everything apart from his final battle with indifference. His sole preoccupation was your case, and as a former citizen of Laterano, his final request can be considered his last will and testament. That said, the case has now been solved, and it is no longer possible to investigate any further. But I did find a letter addressed to you in his residence. I read it only once, but I have it memorized. I can recite it to you if necessary. However, the contents are full of rather emotional expressions, such as, when I decided to get into the bottom of your case, that gross monster summoned me to his office. He slapped me in the face and said, "Lithuanian expletive omitted. Don't you dare think your military success gives you the right to pick fights with everyone. Yulia, I hate Schulingssturm. I hate that I'm unable to..."
Her executor, Loris wasn't that sort of man. Yulia interrupts Federico's recital. The Loris I know was never the type to call himself a hero or anything like that. But he was the first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's Spire. He was the only fool to join the Gendarmerie and silently protect the city, despite owning a title. The only officer willing to defy the nobles to protect civilians. He knew things weren't perfect in either Laterano or Lithuanian, and that many things needed changing. But someone harboring hope in their heart will never give into despair. Never. Yulia stops in her tracks and begins mumbling to herself. Federico follows suit and looks at her quivering shoulders from behind. He does not move. The young executor listens in silence, attempting to analyze the emotions in her words.
Signora Schuler, are you disappointed with Loris Borden? In truth, he was only...
I'm not her executor. I just feel sorry for him. I'm the reason he became like that, right? But I was actually... Man, if only they could have had their happy ending. That would have been cute. Heck, even as a what if in the void. A pipe organ suddenly sounds from the distance, followed by a huge energy pulse. Federico subconsciously pulls out his gun. Going to accept his proposal. Aww, that makes it even more sad. Federico turns back to Yulia. An insipid mist flits through his hands, and the Capernaum woman before his eyes, no longer exists. Only nothingness remains, as it always has been. He suddenly recalls the flower from the Sanctillaminium Ambrosi. Back then, he felt that the flower could only be the answer to his confusion. Now he finds himself in a similar situation, with no one in front of him. The primary difference is that he is still unable to comprehend the truth of the situation and place he is in, a place devoid of laws or solid footing, only endless dangers and unknowns.
This was Yulia Schuller's second death. My preliminary deduction is that she was caught in a wave of abnormal energy caused by the violent impact to the Genesis horn. I will move to verify the precise cause immediately. In short, this too was an accident. An accident that has once again destroyed her life, and once again she was unable to react in time. Yulia, you have the worst luck, what the heck?
Federico is an outstanding executor. He has been with the Notarial Hall for 7 years and carried the title of Saint or two. He calls himself an executioner and executor, and has witnessed countless deaths, but this is the first time he has truly sensed someone's emotions in their final moments. She lived in her own Schillingsturm for an eternity, and she loved and regretted. Even death was unable to shake her belief in life. Simple, but intense.
That be Yulia. Your silence ails me, Sancta.
Yulia, she...
The twins created by Leopold and Fremont are currently attempting to brute force their way into my pavilion.
I like that. I like how the twins are just brute forcing their way through.
Frail consciousness cannot withstand the resulting energy waves.
No, it's not just her. Arturia turns around, even though there is nothing else to see. Suddenly, the energy blows away a layer of mist like a breeze, revealing the breathing, footsteps, joy, and grief hidden beneath. These emotions are now... No, they've always been here, all over the pavilion. If a soul is like an instrument, then at this very moment she feels the vibration of countless strings, a chorus. I could only see Yulia because of my acquaintance with Lawrence, and I had only a brief contact with her. But there are so many ordinary souls living inside your palace.
They exist as information and walk as Athenians, form an identity, nothing more. But reminiscing is a luxury I do not allow my pavilion, Sancta. I believe you came to verify a future.
I think I've already gotten my confirmation in a way. Why exactly do people develop a self? And how does one become strong enough to go up against an approaching crisis? Or a predestined doom? We all exist within order. Rules and commandments serve as Lateranal's anchors and cables, enabling faith to traverse the entire lands and providing a target for the prayers of the believers. The law is our piety. The Athenian, however, is the result of Goloneskasats, through its systems, aesthetics, models, and morals. 10 different regions with no common cultural identity, joined together as a unity that has lasted 1,000 years. Experience inherited through generations, laws forged in writing, concepts established by convention. These exist in priori, and from it, an order is formed. They guide how we should think, speak, and deal with ourselves as well as others, and so it becomes our instinct, engraved into our very flesh and blood. But the order has its imperfections. It is rigid, unequal, and indifferent. It separates us. Laterana's order offers redemption to its believers, but the gates of paradise do not open for the Sarkas. It refuses to provide bread for their empty stomachs or roofs to shelter them from the rain. Ager and Iberia force the same dangerous ocean, but their respective orders forbid them to keep watch at the same lighthouse. Our order rebels against us, and we yearn for it still, calling for its perfection.
Only order is desired. Laterano's laws hover barely over. Laterano's laws hover barely above 100 words, and the Athenian's theme has long been concise. Their mind shallow, their pride false, their senses dull. They regard only the dead as eternal. By this they are timid and yet fearless. What is your answer then, Sancta? What do you desire?
Emotion. We exist in the present, a river whose running flow is our feelings, our discordant and capricious reflections of the moment we are living in. Feelings build into emotion, and emotions shape our souls. Our emotions are varied and profound. We're the love, the hatred, the appreciation, and the lament we harbor when these emotions call upon our reflection, and through these encounters we come to understand life itself. They were the torch we wielded to repel the shadow of death long before the birth of laws, religion, politics, or science. We were born as prodigies in utilizing our emotions. For Federico's case, besides the lack of emotion, more like... Well, heck, reading emotions is difficult. Feelings are difficult. Like, heck, even I don't have, like, super duper strong feelings about stuff for the most part. Like, I don't usually have number one favorites, but I have, like, favorites that I like, as in multiple things. For example, even for VTubers, I like multiple VTubers, not just like, yes, this is my Oshi, my one and only Oshi. I'm like, nah, I have multiple Oshis. Like, that kind of thing. And thus, we are connected.
Are you referring to the empathy between the Sancta?
There's the word, empathy. Yeah, that's the word. Not being able to empathize too well. Like, Federico, you're fine, my boy. He's still a good boy, even if he can't empathize too well.
Are you referring to the empathy between the Sancta?
Indeed. Language is not without its limits, and when it finds an impossible chasm to leap over, empathy arches across an emotion's quiver. It is a precious gift to my kin, through which we can read each other's feelings. But it is also utterly unfair. Its creeds are too vague, and its benediction too narrow, like a rule written only to serve Laterano's order.
So you crave true empathy? You seek an empathy from within, with a wider yet deeper range of what you call emotion that connects everyone on all lands as one. An interesting delusion, Sancta.
I've searched, I've tried, and failed. Would you imagine it? In a dilapidated monastery, Sancta and Sarkas had been fighting side by side against life's miseries, and their own wavering faith, all to protect a hard-earned garden. Oh my goodness, Arturia should read this one manga. I forgot what it was called. I read it inside of Barnes & Nobles. It's like a zombie apocalypse one. And since I don't remember the name, I can spoil part of it. Let's just say that the zombies are basically giant hordes of empathy. So I think she'd be into that manga. She'd be like, oh heck yeah, this is exactly what I want. And MC-kun would be more like Federico in that case, where it's like, empathy, what's that? Haha, I do what I want. I do what I do. And when true disaster came knocking at our doors, we found that our kin, who had understood and appreciated us for 6 decades, still harbored doubts in their hearts, fissures in their faiths. We were always strangers, nothing more. Emotions are as real as the fragility of our minds. We're good at avoiding pain, experts, even at muting ourselves on it. Conversely, this helps mask our own feebleness. As a result, people cannot feel what others feel. Tragedies will always transpire as long as this barrier remains.
And you and your music endeavor to unshackle people by confronting them with their true hearts, just as one would polish an instrument on sandpaper. You attempt to strengthen their souls by guiding them through their regrets. Is this the duty you have long since imposed upon yourself to perform?
Yes, Your Majesty. Because to this day, I have been seeking confirmation. I have a future in mind.
Continue.
In that future, everyone possesses a most powerful soul. Our strengths are unequal, unlike yours, where a tenacious soul can't be shaken by anything in this mortal realm. And even death is powerless to wipe away your struggles, pursuits, and conquests. Others are like those Korra, Yulia, or the souls in the palace. They are unconcerned with greater undertakings, and simply love the lives they live. But still, they dare to fight against the turbulent waves that are engulfing them. Of course, we will persist in our pursuit of happiness, but more importantly, we will no longer avoid pain or be ashamed of it. We as people should suffer, and we will suffer. Our apathy, doubt, confusion, remorse, shame, grief, these complex emotions will no longer leave scars in our hearts, nor will they remain untouchable beyond the realm of words. We will no longer shy away from self-expression, nor will we struggle to find ways to do so. We will understand how to live with ourselves, and live strong we will.
Sancta, the results of your performances are often unsatisfactory. You should know that for most, emotions are inadequate guidelines, and wholly following one's heart will only lead to dire consequences. Crafty is the creator who, for each house built, has orchestrated a blizzard that brings its ruination. Yet you hope for your future to include everyone? An amusing delusion.
No, Your Majesty, it must include everyone. Indeed, your existence is an exception to the laws and reasons that govern these great lands. In just a moment, I was asked if I want ice cream. So let me just message back, being like, yes, please pick me up some ice cream on the way home. Ice cream? From where? I would love some ice cream. Ice cream. It's hot. I need ice cream. It's literally the calm before the storm where it's like extra warm. That's how it be. Ooh, what flavor am I hoping for? Let's see. Okay, let me see. Mint, chocolate, chip, chocolate, peanut butter, or chocolate, chocolate chip. AKA just chocolate. I want chocolate, 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 chocolate. Anything with chocolate. Though if chocolate chip comes home, I might have to fight with my little bro because his favorites... Actually, no, he also likes mint chocolate. Both him and I are just like, mint chocolate chip, delicious. Chocolate chip, delicious. But on the bright side, only I like chocolate peanut butter. That can be mine and mine alone, haha. Chocolate peanut butter is priority for me. No one would steal it. It all be mine. Oh yeah, those are tasty. Okay, I'm done messaging. I do want my ice cream though. I'm excited. That'll be my reward for tonight. Indeed, your existence is an exception to the laws and reasons that govern these great lands. Born from order, yet ruling over it. Your incredible personality, formidable strength, boundless knowledge, adventurous spirit, and subversive insight, all condensed into an essence of one. You have glimpsed beyond the horizon of perception into the black woods of mystery, and even wield the power to traverse the unknown in your hand. But they are also the root of your madness, your downfall, these extraordinary qualities, and the nigh unattainable achievements built upon them.
They cease to exist with your demise. It's a cage trapping us all, and we should not expect any individual to break it open, however powerful its soul is. Therefore, everyone needs a strong soul. They need the power to empathize. We will be able to share knowledge, our experiences, our abilities and insights, all via our emotional bonds. Then, there will be no crisis unable to endure ties, no defeat able to wear down our report. There will be no truths unrevealable, no pains incomprehensible, no obstruction unsurpassable. Our power comes from our individual strengths. We will be distinctly ourselves, yet as one. And when adversity and the unknown are the gate, they would find our sanctuary unbreakable, as our collective emotions have formed a wall of steel. Thus, I am here. If a strong soul can truly exist, strong enough to resist a predestined doom, then by no means should I ignore it. The future.
Arturia's ideal. I would not want to be part of that. It reminds me so much of that one manga. That one zombie manga. Literally, they become like a hive mind because of that. Because literally, the zombies just empathize with each other. Well, I just like how MC-kun is just like, I don't want to be a part of that. Nope, not I. I shall go on my own. Haha.
Much have you witnessed and experienced, and devoted you are to the power of emotions. Why then did you not seek it from yourself, Sancta?
Oh? Are you reading my mind? Ooh. You've been doing this in the moment I arrived at your throne. Is this your performance?
A performance that befits a performer like you, Pilgrim. Everything in my pavilion, I command at will. They are mine. Accumulated guilt. Unreconcilable sorrow. Hopeless disappointment. Powerful courage. Endless regret. Unwavering affection. There is no performance.
No performance will allow such cruelty and arbitrary. You do not come to a common understanding, nor are his joys and sorrows yours. You have thrown open the gate to your mind, and he is the guest and the host. Lathanian history has recorded how the Witch King reformed and rearranged his people, his orchestra and army. Disobedience is not tolerated nor possible.
Sancta, if emotions had forms, by all rights should you be the foolish individual I have ever met. But I sense in you nothing. Why? Because you use yourself as a mirror, reflecting the emotions of others. 9. You do not see and tell, you receive. You are a receptacle whose content is overflowing with the emotions of others. With no room for your own, you feel what they feel, but at the same time, feel nothing. You undo the knots of others while further tightening yours, a state that resembles only chaos.
Arturia feels a pair of hands on her. They stretch into the lake bed of her consciousness, and do not stop there, but stir up the mud at the bottom, arriving at the void in the very depths.
Ah, yep, she stared too long into the void, and look, the void stared right back at her.
Ooh, hello. She's probably like, I'm so used to reading others, I'm not used to being read myself. Like, ah, so this is what it feels like. Suffocation resembles a rushing river, scrubbing every nook and cranny of her consciousness, as it thoroughly engulfs her within.
I see. I saw your only truth.
The Witch King remains silent for a long time as he stares at the person before his throne. Arturia has never felt her heart beat as fast as it has now.
Sancta, the future you describe does have its value. Perhaps it will find its place in the river of time. However, you're the one person furthest from your utopia. If you're just a receptacle, just a mirror, if you cannot even see the reality you have neglected, then you have reached your end before your path is yet to reach its.
Your Majesty.
Your audience is over, Sancta. Your request I will not answer. Now bear witness to my end.
Oh, he got a mask.
You guessed at my pavilion. Very well. Come forward, twins. I recognize you both.
At first, a pipe organ hums in the distance, its sound reaching the throne loud and clear. A gentle shade of gold follows, like a splotch of rich inks soaking into view. The color climbs over the palace walls before melting the pavilion down. If she's carrying an organ, like, is she just pushing it around on wheels? Or does she have like a mini one she can carry around? Because I used to have like a mini little toy piano at one point in my life. Brilliant rays of light dye the clouds aureate, and Sturm's glowing sunset illuminates a black spire that had long ceased to exist.
You truly are attached to that throne, Herkomshorn.
23 years ago, when Hildegard and I made our way here, you were sitting on it just as you are now. Summoned here late at night by a creed, your subjects crawled beneath the steps as your melody shredded their souls away, not daring to make one move. You were disinclined to even take notice of them.
Judging by your attire, you both proclaimed yourselves as the Kaiser Inen of Lethanian. The blades, painstakingly forged by the nobles, are now pointing back at them, freshly resharpened. How amusing! I won't deny you. Lysalot and I were born from your arts. Our flesh and blood, as well as our power, were born from the nobles' boring ambitions. Indeed, we're only creations. But precisely because of that, we can be loyal only to Lethanian. And to then, how did you serve the Lethanian you are devoted to?
Hildegard and I do not judge ourselves by our merits, Herkomshorn. But at the very least, when the people of Sturm lift their heads, they should be able to see a brilliant sunset instead of dark clouds brimming with a metallic tinge of blood. That is our dream, and what we work towards.
How naive. Do you wish to continue indulging yourselves in the illusions you weaved, and enshrouding your minds of the truth? Humanity is shackled by repulsive rules. Our legs cannot walk, our eyes cannot see. And what kind of future can you possibly bestow to Lethanian, given your wayward minds and narrow sights?
Is the Witch King, who nearly drove Lethanian to the brink, actually rebuking us for our incompetence and in giving her a future? Lysalot, we don't have time. We don't have much time. We performed together on every one of the 23 celebrations of Lethanian's rebirth, and your skills have never faltered. I hope I can put the same trust in your combat practice. You and Lethanian have my shield, Hildegard.
Ah, what a beautiful family reunion. I would love to summon the twins on my side. Can I summon them? Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Too many good banners. Never mind. I need time to save, if anything.
I admire your experience, courage, and achievements, Herkomshorn. You overthrew prejudice and the old order, more firmly entrenched than the spires are now, and brought opportunity to every Lethanian. You gave the nation unprecedented vitality, and were to be revered as the greatest monarch in history. But then you pushed the country into war, erected even more terrifying spires, and inflicted suffering 100 times more painful to the very people you had given hope to. You were ruined by your own desires. Herkomshorn, our widespread standards, our harmonious melodies, and our arts and morals make Lethanian what she is. But you rocked her foundations, undermined her survival, and made her your own vassal. Your meddling turned the entire country into a resource to be exploited, and it is only righteous that everything you have explored or mastered belongs to Lethanian. So we're here to retrieve it. A spire that remains only as a shadow should not exist in the first place. To think it actually lingered over Lethanian these past 23 years. What did you call it earlier? Your pavilion? A palace? No matter. Today will be your last, and this place shall serve as your final grave.
A Reginium cluster surged from thin air, first hitting Grimlock's blade before fragments splash into Gegene's shield. Black and red unite into one, a dazzling gold and intense purple. Their arts are condensed to their very limits, like unchangeable primitive blocks of color. They collide, but cannot blend into each other, and only splash before the throne, seizing every inch of space. An ear-splitting rhythm accompanies the explosion of colors, their weapons. Originally instruments perform two movements in two completely different styles, at the same time and place. Brass, woodwinds, strings, percussion, keyboards, and even bell trees, as well as death whistles. Ooh, what a performance! The rusty reeds beneath Sargon's golden sands, the flame wreathed amber under the sludge of the black flow. The rootless flower is buried deep in the frostbound soil of Sami, and the boundless chaos itself in this Kargarake. How's the story so far? Intense. The cosmos coexists with its voice within the Witch King's melody. Notes are woven, conducted, and played by his hand. Notes to sing a melody of the Witch King. Notes to sing a melody for the Witch King. This mortal realm will never again know a symphony this clamorous, harsh, and illogical, yet also spectacular, majestic, and striking. Evigegane and Grimlock's duet is so simple in comparison. The notes gently rise and sharply fall, with a dignified and imposing pipe organ resembling a castle encircled by mountains, while the ethereal violin is like a waterfall pouring by the citadel. The sound of water splashing onto the rock is still clearly audible from the room furthest from the waterfall, but even in the closest, it does not sound so noisy. The two act as one. Their movements are as harmonious as if they had never split. Between Evigegane or Grimlock, who would I want it to be the welfare if they had to be? I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say it's gonna be the Witch King. He'd be the welfare. Unfortunately, those two would probably be both 6 stars, and heck, for the limited one, I have a lot of fighters. You know, a lot of them are offense, but having a good defense limited might be fun. But then again, that would hurt too. But no, just because I said that, Evigegane would have to be the limited. Yeah, she'd be the limited one if anything, just because of the shield. More shield heroes. The symphony sing a war song. 2 generations of Athenian Kaisers fight before the throne. The entire Pavilion, both their sand table and military formation. History bends and rewinds at this moment. Gaul's flagship crosses the river valley under Corsica the First's lead. Soldiers bumping shoulders as they form a thick cloud and tear apart Sturmland's iron curtain-like defense line. And then her comes-from silhouette introduces its reign at the pinnacle. He stands atop the spire, heaven and earth at his beck and call. The elements, thunderbolts and sandstorms, are all at his disposal to swallow everything. Under the omnipresent dust clouds of blood, Evigegane and Grimlock's movements are unremarkable. They sneak into the Vidunian under the cover of the night, and with a feint from the Kurfürsten's coalition army, and make a beeline for the spire. The spire opens its doors, welcoming its visitors. The unsuspecting spire casters rush into formation, and one by one turn into the red leaves of late autumn. Shield and sword shatter the Genesis spire, just like that night 23 years ago. And while this is all happening, Arturia has a front row seat.
My Pavilion, and everything in it, are disintegrating, dying. The Pavilion, the imperishable hall, is not my creation, nor the work of anyone else. It is the accumulation of mankind's immeasurable sacrifices. Technology, art, evolutionary experience Every choice, every target, every affection, and every resentment, every hope and every despair, every thought and every prayer, the birth and death of every civilization, everything remembered and everything forgotten. The pavilion is humanity. The pavilion is our will. Through annihilation of the will has taken form, and from chaos and order, the order was given birth. A will true to reveal the origin, a will firm to conquer the source, Originium. The beginning of annihilation and the source of chaos are both mine to wield, and thus I compelled Originium to reveal the nature of its being, to present the fact of its origin. But I became aware that no matter how Originium grows, overwrites, recreates, it speaks the same truth, a truth laid bare right before our eyes all along. It says the creator who was at the source of making was also a creation. It says the dominator reigned long before its domain came to exist. It says hope is lost and eternity is no more.
The Witch King likes monologuing while fighting, huh?
And what truth did I obtain but heavier chains, and a more ruthless resolve at the origin, the root of all creation. Undeniable as the silences of death, unextinguishable as the light of stars. Cruel was the maker, vile was the maker, sly was the maker. By his hands our determination was shattered, but not annulled. Maimed but not overthrown. It forged our sharpest sword, it built our toughest prison. The truth is laid bare for all to see. And how can a seeker challenge a truth with their volition and sanity splintered? Let the truth be seen by all eyes. Let the reason be heard to all ears. Your determination has glued you to my pavilion. More will follow. You will see in me a nightmare, a traitor to freedom, a tyrant. But if the Genesis Spire has failed to reach the boundary with its thrust, then a pioneer must be there to step foot on a place beyond space and time. It is the root of all creation, poses nothing but shackles. Then we shall be the hands holding its chains. If the Creator has willed the extinction of his creation, then we shall be the bell to toll his demise. Void cannot and will not be the truth. I will never allow it, nor will I excuse it. Hearken well Circumshorn's ultimate vision, his sin and his final will. The Creator must perish.
Yeah, old man.
I see that your power has grown since our last meeting, twins. The portion of Circumshorn's which he discarded long ago was standing before him. But you have perceived not yourselves, and know not freedom. You have relinquished humanity. I'd hoped Lithanian's sword and shield to be more than weapons. Heed my audience. You have come before the throne to seek an answer, to pass down a verdict. Only a man's answer can sate his kin. Only a monarch's verdict can convict his equals. If you succeed, if you shall stand fast till the very end, you must see what I didn't, and what I wasn't. Hope may be gone, eternity may be lost. Their dearth mark but the end of her Circumshorn, a monarch's downfall. Lithanian shall stand, whose light will outshine the tallest beacon of hope. Lithanian shall live, whose name will outlast the longest river of time.
Are you done monologuing, sir? He sees a rhapsody. He roars a fanfare. He demands a concerto. Now thunders have joined the chorus. Are we fighting now? Okay, now we get to fight. That was a long story portion before that. Gosh darn it, old man. Let's see. Yeah, he's probably gonna monologue some more afterwards, though. No, man, I should put Thorn first and then... Oh well. At least Thorn a little bit closer. Oh well. Too late. Wow. Okay, let's see how I want to do this.
Maybe not that way.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, first that. I do wonder what creator he's referring to. Oh, he thinks is the creator. But time to bonk him. Hey. Oh, that was satisfying. Okay, I shouldn't be bullying her. But I'll be doing that though. I'm sorry, Texas. You're just suffering now. I was being rude. Oh wait, he disappeared. My bad. I wasn't looking too much. I got distracted. Wait. Oh no! Actually, no, I don't want to put her there. Right over here seems good. Yeah, it seems good. Uh-oh. Okay, got the dude. No fear. There's no fear. What is fear? Fear don't exist here. I don't know this so-called fear. Actually, let's face him this way. That seems fine. Sir, can you just like stop? Sir? Sir? No. Just stop, sir. Oi. How freaking dare you? Actually, can you hit from here? Okay, he can. It's good. Actually, wait. If I put you here... no, you wouldn't reach, sadly. But over here, kinda can. Let's just do that, though. Okay, I can put her away for now. Now let's see what happens if I do that. Sir, stop it. Okay, at least I don't have a shield thing anymore, so it's fine. Sir, can you just like not do that? Oi. Stop zooming around the field. So rude. Yeah, let's get him. This be fine. Just keep on bonking him and all is good in the world. Wait. Get rid of them for now. I don't even need passenger at this point. He's just there. Sir, what did you just do? Excuse you? He just moved around my team. Sir, I hate you. Oh, I hate you with a burning passion, sir. Can you just like not do that? So incredibly rude. Okay, time to bully him some more. What's not really bullying? If anything, he's bullying me. It's just self-defense. Seriously though, so incredibly rude. I'll just get it from there. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Go get him. Can you just like not do that? Keep thinking. Keep on bonking. This is fine. This is completely fine. Yeah, this is fine. Ouch. That only slightly hurt. Slightly stung. Only slight pain and suffering. Not full pain and suffering. Oh, speed time now. Just keep on hitting him. Yeah, just keep on hitting him. It's fine. I wish we could hit him from here. Actually, wait. We kind of can. Not really, never mind. At least I can get that one. He's slowly hitting him. I do want to bring out my lovely golden glow, but not right now. Right now, I just bide my time as sir. Sir, did you really have to do that? Did you really have to do that, sir? Could you just, like, not do that? Again, so rude, my dude. Why? Why do you do that, sir? It's okay, I can hit him from here at least. It's not entirely bad. All is not fine in the world, but it's okay. It's all G. Okay. Wait, is he out of range? Oh, he kinda is. Oh, that's annoying. Sir? Sir? Just like, no. Stop it, sir. Oi. Quit doing that, my dude. Well, he's almost down at least. Just a little bit more, though. Gosh darn it. Oh, that hurts. And ooh, hello, hello. Hi, hi. Yeah, a little bit more now. Still a tease. He's the only one left, and he's just standing there menacingly. Slowly fighting me menacingly. What? I failed? Oops. Oh, my bad. I didn't even realize I failed. What? Oh! Oh, there's a time limit. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. I was confused. I didn't even notice the time limit. Okay. I got this. I understand now. Brain working. Actually, I don't really need him. No, I'm gonna keep him anyways, because why not? But no, this is fine. I got this now. I just gotta do a thing. Okay, I got this. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring Susie back out. I can't believe she went down though that time. Now that hurt me. That hurt me so much. But no, we're gonna do something similar like as last time. Using the device? I don't believe in my skill with the device. I never practiced with it. The one time we had to learn to use a device, that's the one stage that I did the worst on. Yeah, the tutorial kind of broke me, so maybe not. I should put her here. Right now, this be fine. Okay. Over here. Oh wait, right over there. That'd be fine. Okay, there he be. Hello, sir. Welcome back. Kind of, sort of, not really. But I will be polite enough to say welcome back, sir. I'm just gonna keep spamming him. And again, hello, sir. Oh, look at him trying to move away. That's adorable. I hate him. But no, it's fine, it's fine. I can get him from here. Okay, let's start bringing more out as one do. Oops, that would have been bad. And I know he's gonna come back here, so I'm just gonna prepare. Just in case. Oh, look at him trying to move around again. But sir, can you just like not attack Susie, please? Man, you're so annoying, sir. Like, stop it, my dude. Me, I'll bring her out again eventually. He's smart. He's going for the strongest one first. I understand that, unfortunately. She's too cool for the world. Will this be fine? Okay, he's almost down now. Bro, really? Well, I don't like where she is, so I'm just gonna move her, of course. Man. Seriously, dude, why you gotta do that? Oh, that is so incredibly annoying. Keep facing this way, it's fine. Over here. Whatever, at least she can get the ones over there, that's fine. Kinda, sorta, not really. Fun enough. He over here. I can get rid of those dudes. And then buy my time for Susie. Yeah, slowly buying my time as one do. Man, why did Shan have to be facing that way? I don't want to bring her back to facing the other way at this point. You know, maybe I should. Yeah, I'll need multiple healers there. This one is fine for now. There is hope in the world. Actually, you know what? Let's see what happens if I face him here. Oh, whoopsie, wouldn't even be in the range. My bad. Oops. Oh, sorry, Silver Ash. You're just here to suffer right now. But you can get a few hits that doesn't do anything. Oh, my bad, my boy. You're just here to suffer now. For real, just here to suffer. It's okay, he's being cute. He's doing something, kind of, sort of. Yeah, no. Actually, how far can you reach, my dude? Nope. Okay, I probably should have made her retreat sooner, but... I missed the dude. It's okay. There's still hope in the world. Yeah, there be hope. And that's what matters, hope. Okay, she can hit him, which is good. Maybe I should move him actually. Too late at this point. At least I can do this, just for stalling. Sir, why do you do that? Actually, no, this kind of works out. She's still in a good area. Joke's on you, sir. I'm fine with this. Joke's on you indeed. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with this. This works out. Never mind. Okay. Okay. I think that was, in a way, better than last time. Like, only in a way. Okay, sorry, I don't need you right now. She could hit hard, actually. If I just put her behind him. She doesn't gotta face the shield. Gavio, we'll believe in you. You are the invincible after all. She cool like that. And again, why not? Using a guard? Eh. Her third skill? I'm not used to the third skill. Right now, I'm just keeping what I'm used to for the most part. Which could end good or bad. No in between. But for now, let's do a similar setup to last time. Because clearly that's fine, totally. Though for a guard, I could put Mudrock because it'd be funny. Mudrock's fun. Okay, setting up the setup.
Hello, sir.
Look at you being there menacingly. This part was fine. Yeah, this part was fine at least. This one was the one that kind of hurt. I say as I cause more pain and suffering because I don't have enough to bring out a healer. Never mind, I can bring out a healer. But will she heal in time is the question. Nope, she did not heal in time. I should have waited a tiny bit for healer. But it's okay. It's not like I needed a healer, cries. They'll just bide their time. Yeah, just bide your time. And then we'll slowly bully this dude. I'm not just self-defense. Sir, can you just like not do that? You gonna teleport again? No? Okay. That's fine. Let's see if I do that. Oh, never mind. Oops. Of course he teleports. Because he wants to cause me pain and suffering like that. Understandable, sir. Uh-oh. Okay, yep, that's the part I don't like. But you know it's fine. Okay. I'm just gonna bide my time. The first stage isn't too bad, at least. He's doable. Actually, wait, which way is she facing? Okay, still facing the right way. That's fine. Okay, there. Now he's being annoying. And actually, it's okay if he that goes down right now. That part's fine. Let's see what happens if I put her here. Okay, where's she facing? Okay, she's facing that way, which is okay. Honestly, yeah, that's fine. Just gonna bide my time again. Okay, okay. Yeah, I gotta put someone behind the Witch King later. For sure. But that's for later. Slowly biding my time. Actually, not really slowly. Man, she wouldn't even reach, which is a sad part. Gabriel, I kinda wanted you to be my savior. But no, the world says no. Can I make those thingies? Yeah, let's have him hit that. I can try using the orb thingies then. Thank you, Silver Ash. Okay, now I don't think I need her there. Actually, let's see what happens if I... Oh, wait a second, what just happened? Let me just look at my bearings real quick. Actually, I can put him there for now. And yeah, I could put a healer there. You know, let's just put her there, actually. I'm just gonna wait for a little bit so I can bring out a healer. Or maybe be waiting too long, because it is saying like 30-something seconds. You know, let's be edgy. See what happens if I bring her out now. Oh, it might not be too bad, actually. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Okay. This might be the one. Oh, it's the one. Always believe in Gabriel. Wow. So there's only 2 stages I have to get revenge on. That tutorial stage, which hurt me the most, and the second one, which was the one before this. Where that one guy got through. Thank you, thank you. The Alafia girl sits with her legs crossed, her back against the desk. She places a pillow on her knees and spreads open a book upon it, the candlelight illuminating her drooping head. The girl reads it in undisturbed silence. Then she raises her head from the page to meet Viviana's gaze. You don't seem very surprised to see me, Vivian. I saw your shadow in the doorway, and knew it was you. Ja, you spent so long observing the shadows in this tiny room, lit only by candlelight. What are you reading? The Last Night. I'm currently at the third to last chapter. Behind the nameless night is a huge and lonely lighthouse. The relentless waves push him and his steed, Rocinante, back. But they roar as one, and towards the huge waves, as dark as night, they charge. Eek! No spoilers, please! You'll spend the night reading that paragraph over and over again, until you fall asleep on the floor with a pillow in your arms, until Muti returned in the middle of the night to blow out the candles. Huh? How do you know? Of course she knows. The room, the posture, the book. This is her memory, after all. Viviana retreats into the doorway. Are you leaving? I'm sorry, Vivian. I have questions about my life, and I need to look for the answers. Maybe, just maybe, there's still time to open one last door. How many have you opened already? More than 100. I already lost count. I just want to find a better possibility. Oh? And what if you still can't find one? Is better something clearly defined, like a math problem? In those doors you've entered, maybe Muti and Vati got to live in peace together for longer, without anyone disturbing them. Or maybe Muti left us a few years later than she did. If you think about it, how do you know you haven't already come across a better answer? So why do you still carry on so much regret? How can you be sure you'll ever find one in the first place? And what happens even if you do? It won't change your past. What's meant to happen has already happened. Vati always said that if he'd waited at Marigold Alley for just 10 more minutes, maybe he could have met with Muti, and everything would have turned out differently. A pity fate does not afford us a chance to start over. But even if he did meet her, he'd still have to leave anyway, right? The story wouldn't change in any way, aside from giving Muti one last chance to cry and say goodbye. Or maybe you're actually hoping you won't find a better answer, because then you could tell yourself that this was the best of all possible worlds. I just don't get it. Aren't you thinking the same way that Vati did? Vivian. I'm going back to my book. You're disappointed, aren't you? You should go. There's still time to open the next door. The sound of collapse approaches. Viviana turns around, the line of doors collapsing in succession, scores in her eyes, like dominoes toppling into one another, or the fireworks in her memories going off all night long. The rumbles travel from afar, reaching the tallest spire in Sturmland. Her father seldom comes here. As a Kurfürst, he has to receive an endless line of visitors on festival nights, and her maid mother will be busy serving them until the early hours of the morning. She would huddle in the corner of her room just like now, and shield the sounds outside with books. Once the waves washed away, once glory and life together faded, the world and all of its beings fell from the zenith to nadir, becoming dust. Once the forge belched its flames, once catastrophe descended, once families and old friends alike forsook the soul. The last night upon this great land, all alone, faced the swells as dark as night and began to charge. Back then, she had yearned for this so much, so full of courage. She had told herself not to be weak, to imagine herself as a knight, Viviana the knight. A true knight is unafraid of disaster or hardship. By the way, the knight in the book she's reading, it's that guy with the seahorse, right? The collapse is clearly visible. It's ruin right before her eyes. An inexpressible sense of danger strikes Viviana in her heart. She suddenly feels a strong premonition that the collapsing doors are not simply a manifestation of her repeated failures. If this tiny room were to be swallowed up, something truly would be wiped away. Something would be lost forever. Viviana, when the knight charged toward the endless waves, did you imagine that he was trying to overcome the entire world? No. Ooh, pretty. I won't leave. Viviana turns around, protecting the little girl with her own body. I don't even know what's really been going on ever since I began climbing that spiral staircase. Maybe this is something everyone goes through when they come to the Genesis Horn. To be tightly bound by the knots deep in their hearts, to lose themselves in a whirlpool of chaos, becoming one with it. Vivian, what do I say to you, or rather, what do I say to myself? The light of a candle is dim, and its flame will always flicker at the whims of the night wind. There will always be filth coming at you and regrets you can't revoke. The bafflement of finding and grief of losing will seek to swamp you over. But you must believe, the stories you once yearned for are not at all legends or symbols. You've seen for yourself a radiance that can light up the entire land. A light that does not flicker, even when no one is walking the path that illuminates. Maybe you yourself are not that radiant light, but you too have once drawn your blade to protect it. Never forget this, Viviana Drost. You are a knight. The collapse arrives, and the darkness swallows her in an instant. Compared to the last knight, whose nemesis was the ocean beneath and the sky above him, she knows nothing about her enemy's identity. She suddenly finds herself unable to feel the sword in her hand, nor can she light a candle. Fear, suffocating as the ocean and raging as a tide, instantly scours her to the point of numbness. But as soon as she feels calmed, soothed, and relaxed somehow, dread and sorrow no longer drown her. Because bit by bit, the waves are no more. Just what is it, in those collapsed doors and their cracks, that is devouring her emotions? Countless images, real and fake, intertwine, binding Viviana into the strange yet soft cocoon. What must she hold on to? What can she hold on to? A dazzling light fills up her vision. She comes to a stark realization. Tested by a dark, bitter, and thorny path, and scorned in history by its legend, a knight's sword staff that even time itself can never wear away. Here and now, it shines in the palm of her hand. Ooh! She tightens her grip with the weapon in her hand. The knight now wields her sword staff and cleaves at the darkness ahead. Its radiance intensifies, and a resplendent gold builds all, delivering its radiance toward the ends of time and space. Oh, Viviana, you're so cool! Wow! Gone are the spiral staircase and the doors. And oh ho ho, so the sword that she has the Nero family crest on it, huh? Oh my. They're very, very close, huh? Gone are the spiral staircase and the doors. Viviana looks down at her empty hands, betraying the gritty sensation that felt so real just now. She shuts her eyes, reconstructing in her mind the last thing she had seen within the darkness. Malevolent spirits take the form of indescribable sounds, light shapes and colors, together forming chaos itself. Piercing through it, all was a sword staff, resplendent and glorious. I was holding on to a projection of it. Their Majesties. No, more terrifying calamities in the chaos. Outside the Genesis horn will befall. This place must not fall to ruin. Well, you better hurry up, Viviana.
Fremont, the twins failed. Yet you have come to conclude my concert at the end. You have been a recapitulation of my ascension and my downfall. Leave. The pavilion is disintegrating. Ha! Or are you here for your phylactery? Your achievement in Kargarake would be enough to earn the respect and fear of the people, yet your attitude remains as loathsome as ever. Should I be grateful that you've milked it for all it's worth? Ja. I've never seen you so reluctant, her cup shorn, but I must have it back. It will have a role to play in Kazu's survival. I've dragged this on for far too long. So many years have come and gone. The Lich King's court should have left Lithanian ages ago. Exile.
And yeah, Viviana would definitely be a beacon. Everyone loves a candle night after all. Especially that one dude from earlier. Oh, sadness.
You had the chance to perform this witchcraft long ago, in that secret room in Ludwig's Universität. How long has it been, as they count time outside? 130 years or so.
In the next moment, the belated witchcraft crosses both the protracted span of time and the divergent paths of its companions to be cast once more. Heavy, grizzled rain falls upwards. Kargarake seems to be flipped over by this stream of flow, and the exile, which is taking his full effort to perform, is soft and permeated with an unusual beauty.
You have never made yourself a greater fool, Fremont. Phylacteries are a knot. You liches tie inside the veil, one that resonates with your life. It is impossible for you to not feel its presence.
Raindrops cluster into strings, dancing into the void to the rhythm of Fremont's breathing. His breaths are nothing unusual, but a long-lost abundance of emotions wells up from the depths of his soul. Fremont casually touches his pocket, only to discover that his lost key has been lying quietly there, within reach all along.
Did I not already return to you long ago? Fremont, the phylactery is a constant, a keystone upon which liches accumulate their time. You're always one step ahead of death. I am not. A fact that you refuse to acknowledge. Why?
Fremont, was this all you just missing your old friend? Not gonna lie, that's pretty cute if that's the case. The moment the entire space is soaked, the Lich's strings finally envelop the Witch King, embracing, entangling, almost forming a coffin-like shape.
You have no words for me but farewells at this moment. Tell me, Fremont, my dearest friend, why is this spire still lacking?
The age-indifferent Lich merely stands before the empty space, without a hint of expression on his face. The traces of the exile scatter, and the threads feel not the Witch King's presence, as if the ferocious Cabernet with the twisted horns had never existed in the first place. Only his final murmur remains in the air, as weighty as an interrogation, as light as a sigh. She does not know when it happened, but Arturia finds herself standing before the spire. She listens in a daze. There is no one able to answer her question, and the sighs are silenced. So those were our parting words, and your answer. Henceforth, Lithanian will never again have a Witch King.
So this is where you were, Arturia.
Federico, Federico looks up and sees the gigantic black spire gradually lose its shape and color before his eyes, as its faded originium clusters dissipate into vestiges. Even the Witch King, known far and wide as history's most powerful soul, was unable to resist his inevitable demise.
Freeze.
Federico lifts his gun.
The Athenian twin empresses have already intervened directly, and the overall impact of this case has far exceeded the initial risk assessment of the mission. Once this has concluded, I will contact Pope Evangelista the 11th as soon as possible. Until then, your freedom will be restricted until we can return to Laterano.
No. Federico has heard her answer. The distant relative he knows all too well does not engage in her usual meaningless push and pull of emotional logic and kinship. She simply refuses wearily and walks towards him. You can pull the trigger now, Federico. Right this very moment, in the chaos known as Kargarek, you're the only one before my eyes, and there is no one I can perform for. I've lost my music, I won't run, and I won't play any games either.
There are holes in your logic, Artoria.
Artoria walked straight past him, as if she did not hear him at all.
The Genesis Spire is disintegrating. Her Kumshorn is dead, so naturally the bubble he was bracing will also burst. Is he really no longer here? You don't believe your own eyes, even after dropping that attitude of yours not so long ago? So in the end, Greymount and Evigeganade were still the only ones who could kill him. Wonderful. You sound only mildly disappointed this time. One day you'll look back on today and realize that even more clarity just now, just how fortunate you were to turn away from the fate that lay before you.
Something dangles down from Fremont's robe. Suddenly, Evanholz realizes Fremont's shadow has remained in pace, even as the man himself just stepped closer. The shadow wraps around the crumbling throne, stretching all the way along the steps before gradually coiling around the entire spire.
Your shadow. My shadow? Ha! Don't let your eyes deceive you. What you see are my threads, my destiny, the essence of my being. You are the second Athenian besides her Kumshorn to perceive my true form. Are you using your life threads to hold up the collapsing space? But aren't they more important than flesh and blood to you liches? Her Kumshorn did a lot of disgraceful things, but he was right about one thing. Annihilation is almost upon us. If we let Kargarek leak out and deep fry Lithuania into a cavity of nothingness, we'll all be gone, lich or not. So run, little lamb. This place can't hold the living for much longer. Leave this too quickly, lest death catches up to you.
Shadows crawl over the old lich's body. Shades of black instantly split into countless threads. They fly towards every falling piece of debris and crack in the void. But the vibrations still intensify.
It's too late. The collapse is right before us.
Can it rain in this space too? Ha, these are her Fremont's threads. He's always kept himself so neat and tidy, unlike other liches. I've never seen him grow so many threads.
The Genesis Horn can no longer support this place. We need to return to reality before this place falls completely apart.
Then we'll need to find our way out first. A brilliant ray of arts? Empress's voice, Viviana Drost. I should have fought alongside your majesties. Please forgive me for my tardiness.
It's you.
Viviana, your light is somewhat brighter than before. And that's because I saw true darkness. I was just walking along an endless spiral staircase, witnessing the collapse of one possible reality after another, and was almost swallowed by the chaos. After that, at some point, I caught a glimpse into the darkness, and I haven't the slightest idea what I saw. Perhaps it was the deepest of dreads, the largest of voids, complete disarray, and a calamity we could not comprehend. They lay dormant within the chaos, and I felt their gaze upon me.
Grimlocked, Epigeganade. The enemy is advancing like a blitz. They're about to invade everything known to us. I can't feel the thread anymore. Oh no. The threads are all vibrating together. They're so intense I can't make out the one connected to the Genesis horn. Lessing!
Unprecedented noise.
Frau Omengard. Her mirror's over here. He shouldn't have.
I'm not dead yet.
Phew, my threads are a mess, so it's hard to sense you even in at this distance. And the professor, we were still connected earlier. The other liches and I were pulling on reality from our side, while he was doing the same to the Genesis horn from his end. It wasn't easy, but we managed to achieve a balance. But things are looking bad now. It's all gone wrong.
They're no longer making any noise. 9, it's not just the dead. The music, it stopped. The Witch King, the Twin Empresses, Sturmland, Martha.
No matter what, he's gonna think of Martha.
The whole theater has fallen silent. Every piece of music, every sound has vanished.
It is as if someone had used the largest scale silencing arts ever cast. Those who lost control of themselves in the chaotic noise have now lost their surface level agitation. Pain, anger, and other intense emotions fade from their faces, replaced by a deep fear. But this dread does not last for long. Instead, it expands into a blank space, and at its peak, a void. Something seeps out of the void. Something that's eroding and annihilating everything. Order collapses, chaos wishes to tarry but cannot. The calamity within the void. The vacuum that corrodes all of existence. Its eyes have noticed us. No wonder our threads couldn't stabilize the space on both sides.
What's coming for us?
It sure would be nice if our enemies were tangible. The scariest part is that they might not even appear. Targarix gets its name from its emptiness. It's just a void. So placed with nothing at all. Conversely invading our reality. What do you think will happen?
We need to get the old man and the others out, right away. Then figure out a way to block the passage. Ermengarde, can you and the old man still hear each other?
We're cutting it close. In all this mess, I'll need time to find the end of the right thread connecting our two sides. But they'll never get out without it.
Did they fail? Grimlocked failed? That's impossible. Get back here. Think, fool, think. That's what's concerning you most. Grimlocked, I can't. She should have given you a final order. If she doesn't come back, if time runs out and the Guestless Watcher don't receive a new order, I see. Their last resort would be to annihilate Schullingsturm. For once, I agree with her choice. It's one thing if we all die here, but we mustn't let Lithanian and everyone else outside the country die with us. Wait, the knot moved just now. The people inside haven't given up. Let's hold on, just a bit longer. Ermengarde, this does not count as a thread between the two sides.
It'll have to. I'm trying my best, and if the connection stabilizes, the professor and I might be able to focus on the arts, cast on the knot to stabilize the passage.
We're counting on you, Ebonholes. I can feel Lessing and the others. They're close. And you think it's a good thing? Targaryen and reality are once again drawing near, like two bubbles stacked on top of one another. No, more like a bubble balanced on the tip of a needle. Even the slightest bit closer, and the bubble will burst. So if I pull the knot and move further away, will you and Ermengarde be able to stabilize the passage? Stay away from the edge of the bubble! Little lamb, you're going to get yourself caught in the void.
The knot trembles in his hand. Ebonhose can feel the hand gripping the other end. A hand already numb from too much time spent swinging the sword.
His strength spent, his arts nearly exhausted, his wounds no longer bleed, and his pain gradually blurs. His duty and his will remain seated deep within his brain, pulsing tenaciously. Such concepts are difficult to describe after language itself has collapsed. Why did we come here? Why have we been fighting? Why were we born? And why would we die? The void greets him. There is no path either forward or out, only nothingness to meet. Ebenholz is falling, and at the end of his fall, there will be nothing at all. Except bright light. No, there's something there. A warm sheet of white, emitting a radiant yet gentle glow. Ebenholz suddenly realizes that while he didn't have time to find the cello-playing Sancta, he has found the answer. The emotions and memories he shared with him were not bestowed upon them by any person, arts, or even fate itself. The most beautiful part, right there with him, has always belonged only to them. A smile, a piece of music, a touch of hope. Fate will always be snatching things away from us, but fortunately I still retain the ability to love and hate. Schulingsterm's glowing sunset, ardent marigolds in bloom, a child with eyes glistening like a lake, and her gentle parents. I love the scenery and the people I cannot see. They illuminate me, dispelling the darkness, obscuring the eyes of many others. But I also hate it. I hate how brief the flowering season is, and the formless wells constricting everything I love. My child, your brows have been knitted ever since you returned to Lethanian. You asked me, where is the new order? Can you guarantee it'll be better than yesterday or today? There is no way I can answer you, so I just decide to do as I have. Love means responsibility, and love will likewise attract even more. You must take responsibility for the things you have changed, and have yet to change. My child, my friend, if you love, if you hate, then you will bear far more than you can imagine.
Oh, now we're here.
I doubt.
Is that a form of cowardice or bravery? If cowardice, then why did I mix the flesh and blood of those monsters into our sacramental bread and wine, willing to place my hopes in a different faith? If bravery, then why did I retract my hand? Did the vivid and hideous living tissues frighten me at the very last moment? For 60 years I could not see that elusive paradise, while my life fell apart before my eyes. I do not want to pray, but it is all I can do. Who wrote the laws and who ensures that their purity and integrity? I ask my faith, and it stays silent. I dare not say that I have already rid myself of the delusions embedded in the depths of my mind. No, I still harbor doubts. The monastery gets further and further away, and I find a handful of seeds in the folds of my robe. Oh, Clement, my son, I will find them a patch of moist soil, even if I were to die on the road. I doubt our laws, question at my cowardice, suspect my bravery, and doubt pushes me on forward.
Oh, now we're here.
Honestly, I hate alcohol, but I suddenly found myself unable to live without it. It's been a long time since Yulia's death. 3 years, 5. Twice in my life have I run away. I've run away. The so-called holy city of Lanarano is not as perfect as it seems. The sweetness and noise in the air mask the inequality beneath. The differences between Liberia and Sancta were seemingly not worth discussing. I was still young when I came to Lethanian. The dark clouds I saw were a stark contrast to the white walls of Laterano. Countless died tragically under the Witch King's regime. I was the first soldier to set foot in the Witch King's spire, but I never once believed that his defeat would usher in a new era for Lethanian. Yulia was wrong. I've always been pessimistic. Disappointment makes me sober. Disappointment compels me to look for a few good things to protect. But in the end, I reached a compromise with my disappointment and ended up like this. If souls truly have a final destination, then I most probably won't be going to the same place as her. But surely, I protected at least a few people. At the very end, I want to ask her executor, Yulia, and myself, do I still count as a hero?
So sad about him and Yulia. Am I walking? I never seem to stop. But where am I going? Oh, it's the ocean. I seem to be walking along a sandy shore. A sticky beach. A strange creature from the ocean actually reverberated in my strings. It had the dullest inner voice I've ever heard, and I still couldn't obtain any answers. The waves pushed me away from the beach. I was 20 then. Oh. I seem to be walking over sand dunes. Soft grains of sand. Opposite me is a warrior known as the Zaiden, as old as the golden grains. With every note I play, history roars from the cracks of the warrior's armor. I was 15 then. I am walking. I never stop. I am walking on. Never skip leg day. I seem to be walking on grass. Out on the lawn in the rain, I'm attending my first funeral. My thanks to Artoria. It was her music that helped free me of my fetters. And my thanks to you, Marcelo. Thank you for blessing me with a wonderful life all these years. I doubt we'll be apart for long. Once this war is over, we'll be together again. I stand before the gravestone watching guests walk up one by one to pay their respects to my mother. I hear their voices clearly, sorrow, lament, regret, ridicule, hatred, glee. But why? And how? Were they still able to maintain the most suitable sadness on their faces? Do we not respect life only by facing death with our truest feelings? I remember what you told me, Mama. I can still hear your voice from time to time. How much courage do I need to be able to struggle free from my ego, day after day? To be brave enough to make that first step. Freedom is so hard to find. But death, why is that so easy? I had finished my performance by the time I awoke. Fede, once again, I couldn't control my own music. Arturia, you revere death so much. Death erases one's existence so easily and puts all emotions to rest. The melodies of those who face the truth and inevitably their deaths leave you impressed, but more often they leave you fearing, hating, doubting. But you are silent. How much more do you need to perform as you wander endlessly about? How long before you finally reach the future? How many more blank pieces do you need to compose for yourself? Even silence will be played, and every composition must have its conclusion.
I saw only truth.
You are so fragile. Arturia opens her eyes. She seems to have walked for a long time. Time is like a river, and people travel along with the flow. But why is she, step by step, trudging back the way she came? She feels like she has become a broken vessel, and the unwavering affection, intense hatred, tremendous courage, and it's fine. An unreconcilable despair and remorse she has experienced through thousands of people. They drain from her, drop by drop, until she is left with only her empty self. She finds herself outside Kargareg, in a plaza surrounded by a crowd. Emotionless faces walk past her, and she stands there in a daze, mirroring the same expression as everyone else. Arturia looks up, lifting her head from the lawn she never left. Dark clouds drift over her, and a glistening drop of rain falls on her face like a tear. A tear for the grief and vulnerability she could not admit in time. ...
Martha, my love, you were the one who lifted me up from my darkest days, inspiring me.
Oh my goodness, this guy and Martha again.
I'm sorry, my boy. But now I can only live with the thoughts of you. Should I go looking for you, even if our fathers disagree, you must at least know my love for you has never wavered, not in the slightest. Martha, my love, You were the one who lifted me up from my darkest days and inspired me to do whatever I wanted, but now I can only live with thoughts of you. I should go looking for you, even if our fathers disagree. You must at least know that my love for you.
Every person in the huge amphitheater before the spires is muttering something on repeat. They speak of their feelings, but their words lack even a hint of emotion. They do not see Artoria or anyone else. What do I see when I make Artoria's dilemma? Well, this be life. Thinking that you're gonna get the answer you want and then only being left with disappointment. It's like, I'm not gonna even get my answer. Whatever. Oh well. I was looking forward to this, but no. I'm sorry, Artoria, that be life. A triangle hits her arm as people cross paths with one another, and she almost drops her own instrument. Grimmacht.
Michael, don't leave me alone.
It's futile, Federico. Good call.
The situation is out of control. Mass hallucination. This is the third time I've seen something like this, but the situation here is much more serious than it was at the Sonata Spire.
It's of a different nature. The Genesis horn has crumbled after the Witch King's demise, and Kargarake is about to collapse into reality. It's not a simple hallucination either, but rather, they are unable to resist the onslaught of chaos, and their various, profound emotions are leaving them. What you're hearing from them now is the only emotion they have left, and their most intense.
What are you doing, Artoria?
The Golden Escasats, the law, morality, exemplary aesthetics, order cannot help them resist. The all-pervasive chaos. Everyone in the plaza will turn into an empty shell themselves, one by one, as they lose their very last scrap of emotion.
We need to bring them back to their senses.
You alone are special here, Federico. For most, how can there be will without emotion? Only with emotions and emotions alone can people preserve their ego.
These people are blank, as you say, and you still plan to play their tunes?
No, this time, my performance is about me. Pretty. It's about my own emotions, and I'll share them with everyone here.
This sounds like another form of empathy. Yet you tried many times to destroy the foundations of Laterano's empathy. You turned your back on Laterano long ago.
Turn my back on Laterano? Maybe I didn't care, but never once have I left Laterano of my own will. I just strongly disagreed with the order represented by their law. As for empathy, its limits are actually the starting point of my vision for the future. I'll explain in more detail later, but for now, look at the countless people before us. They used to cry with all their might, to smile with enthusiasm, and even now are trying their utmost to refrain, trying to retain the very last bit of emotion they experienced in their lives, right up until the final moment, even if they can no longer realize it themselves. Be it the Witch King or Yulia, everyone is equally great and praiseworthy, but also equally incomplete and fragile. This is our ego, the very essence of our humanity. We must become strong, but we must also leave room for our ineradicable fragility. This is why we need a future where we can all stand side by side, sharing our joys and sorrows. I am perceiving myself, Federico. At this very moment, I can only give hope to others if I harbor hope myself, and likewise with love. I want to use this tiny shred of ego to connect every sorrow and joy.
The sound of your strings. People are coming your way. The young noble's face is showing an expression.
Emotional reflux, an involuntary reaction. A hollowed-out soul needs time to reaccept everything.
Operation Assessment, Artoria. Your actions will help stabilize the situation. Executor Federico Giallo will assist you. I will allow no one to interrupt you until you have finished playing.
After the briefest of pauses, Artoria grips her bow tightly again. The movement builds towards its climax. The scrubbed strings resounding in a rapid flutter like a butterfly's wings. She manages to glance up at the sky and sees a giant crack suspended above the twin spires. An eye of darkness opens wide, but still the sunset surrounds it, yet to be completely eroded. How beautiful the sunset is, like a blaze set aflame when the shackles are smashed open. This section is pretty long.
That sound. The song is performing. The knot's moving again. I can sense Ebonholes. Ermengarde!
On it, on it. Threads fly into the clouds from the Lich's fluttering robes. The wind traverses the sky again, and the frozen clouds resume their drifting. Yeah, Viviana's story was sad. Oopsies, I clicked. A mildly intense vibration follows right after, like the slight turbulence when a train enters a station. The passage is stable. As long as you can stay awake, they'll be out in no time.
Michael, wake up! Grimlock must have entrusted you with something. You need to recall what it was.
My tuba.
Hold your instrument properly.
Grimax? Is this my memory? The strings are showing me.
The tuba's heavy. And you're tired, correct? Then say it. You're but a child. There's no need to hide what's in your heart. You're afraid. That's normal. Adults fear me. As a nobles older than yourself, even the most ferocious casters fear me. They believe my sword will pierce through their chest the moment it crosses my mind to. You're unafraid? And you want to be my voice? Have you really thought this through? No, that doesn't matter. You're just a child, after all, who knew nothing when your kin sent you here. Don't cling to my leg. I can't wield my sword if you're like this. Fine, I'll just assume you're tired. You'll have to practice your instrument and arts later, in your own room. There are nobles waiting outside to see me, so I won't be coming back here today. You can take a nap, or play for a while. If you still want to be an Empress's voice, we can discuss it again when you're able to carry a tuba. Also, don't think that you have to become one just because that's what the Lupukarn expects of you. We cannot choose where we are born, but we should at least be able to choose when to turn around. Our responsibility should not be forced on us by the others. You have the right to play the horn I gave you when you've thought it through on your own, and decided on what you want to stand here as. I remember now. I have to play my tuba. I have to tell the guestless watcher everyone's safe. I won't disappoint you. My Majestat, Grimact. Aw, Grimact was so sweet to him. Fine work, Michael. The cello. It sounds so clear. Is Frau Giella helping us? No, not just us. She's helping everyone. At the very least, we still have our souls for the moment. We can still fight. Is that the outside? Is this a passage? We can exit through it. Viviana, find Fremont and ensure that everyone in the space returns to Terra. What about you and Grimact? Us? Naturally, we'll fulfill the duty we've always shouldered. To keep any and all threats away from Lithanian. Finally, just the two of us now. The final melody has already resounded. Lysolot, your shield will cover the twin towers and everyone under the spires. And your sword. My fate has long since been decided from the moment I stepped into this place. No, from even before that. Once the Genesis horn broke away from the plans Fremont and I had drafted for it, and descended upon the center of Schullingsturm, there was only ever one choice left to me. Indeed. Hildegard, is there nothing else you want to ask me? Well, sure enough, your response is pretty much what I expected. The passage is closing rapidly. Darkness rushes in, filling up the tiny cracks that should not exist.
Wrapped in the dark fog are countless restless eyes, storming towards the two of them, and the reality behind them. A shade of gold brushes past a hue of black.
Her Kamshorn built a spire here, establishing order amidst chaos. As one who's inherited his power and even killed him, naturally, I'll be able to surpass him in this as well. The eyes in the void, the threats within the chaos, the beings condensed from fear, the enemies who do not exist in reality. Demons. I, Grimmacht, Kaiserin of Lithuanian, and her sharpest sword, hereby declare that you will never invade my country.
A radiant blaze blossoms from Grimmacht's sword. The fragments of the Genesis Spire scattered in the void reunite under the command of her arts, erecting a new spire. The monument stands between Kargarek and reality, blocking the eyes in the dark from prying on all living existence. The twin spires in reality, the people beneath them, and the clouds above all blend into one under her light, becoming a blurry warm ripple, gradually drifting away from her. Grimmacht does not look back. Her arts, her sword, and even her body have all become one with the pitch-black monument.
They all say you are impossible to defeat. Be it here and now or in the distant future, I will be undone by chaos before joining it. This is my fate. But it is absolutely not the fate of Lithuanian and her people.
Beautiful purple lights. Oh, now it's bright.
The sunset, it's back, and so beautiful. Did something fall from the sky? That's...
The irregular dark clouds crack open. A clearly visible hue of gold shines through the grim sky, gracefully caressing everyone's faces with its light. Lithuanian's people wake up from their dystopian nightmare and are immediately greeted by dazzling clouds of rosy gold descending between the twin spires. No one knows who started it, but the people involuntarily begin to play the instruments in their hands. It is no longer the Goldeneskasats or any other familiar classical piece. A brand new melody accompanying the multicolored radiance of Originium arts echoes the excitement in everyone's hearts, flowing spontaneously under the rosy clouds. Did you see that, Federico? Lithuanian's new hero. No, the birth of a new god. The one who killed her Kampfstorn for the second time, neutralized Lithuanian's calamity, and brought hope and vitality back to the people of this great land. Lithuanian Soul Kaiserin Evigeganade, the eternal grace.
Well, I did say that if, like, between the two, I would have wanted another shield person, and of course she returned, haha, cries.
She who replaced the Genesis Spire completely and become the sovereign of the Lithuanian skies, more splendid than the gold of the sunset itself, Gold der Schillingssturm. The people are ecstatic, and her wish is fulfilled. But this newborn god, she sheds a tear. The brilliance of her golden radiance snatches away everyone's attention, leaving the tear rolling from her face to remain in darkness for eternity. Holy cow, ZT-10 was so long. But I still want to finish the event.
Even if it means no ice cream tonight, let's go.
Coda Evening Glow. The curtains fall on the grandest ceremony, in that moment cementing more than just the sunlight. Cloud. You're hurt. Am I? The new arts teacher's so scary. Maybe I got bruised by him during training earlier. It hurts. Does it? It's nothing. The arts in our bodies will heal our wounds in no time. Are you crying, Hildegard? Haven't you been injured far worse than this before? Grimmacht's built different. She's Plus she's better than the Witch King, so she'll be fine in the void.
Probably. Maybe. No, we can't. We shouldn't be treated like this. Hand me the wooden sword. I'll go look for that caster. I'll go find Leopold and everyone who treats us like creations instead of recognizing us as people with feelings. And what are you gonna do after that? Resist. You might not even achieve anything. That's fine. I need to prove something to them all. To you and to myself. Which is that I'm alive. And that my sorrow, my joy, my pain, my love, my life, that they definitely mean something.
It's beautiful. Just like it's always been. It's getting colder lately. Autumn will be over in a month or two. But Schulingstrom doesn't tend to see any snow, so the sunset won't wane. This is surreal. You're definitely not the type to soliloquize while appreciating the view. What I'm trying to say is that there are no longer any traces of unrest after just half a month. The twin spires tower over us as usual. The clouds are as splendid as always, and the people pass by both Grenade Avenue and Mocked Avenue as if nothing happened at all. No, something has changed. We can't ignore that. How are your injuries? The old man said it's nothing serious. But you did stay in Kargarik for a bit too long, so it's hard to say if you're completely free of corrosion. I haven't had any more headaches since then, at least. You're braver than I imagined, Ebenholz. You've saved so many people. I just couldn't allow those echoes haunting me to hurt any more people. You met the Witch King, and whether you cursed or killed him, you've already completed the last thing you could still do. So what's next for you?
I hope I'm not intruding on you both. Herr Ebenholz, I was looking for you, on Grimmock's behalf.
And here I thought it would be Evigeganade
To send you to punish a dead man for coming back to Lithania without permission.
Ebenholz, why so sassy?
What's this? Grimmock handed me 2 secret letters. One calling for return to Schulingstrom, and the other granting you a final choice.
Have you been staying in the spire the whole time since the incident?
Officially, there are still 2 Kaiserinnen in Lithanian. Grimmock is just away for the time being, and someone has to handle the mountain of paperwork she left behind.
Ah, good luck to you, Michael.
Only I can do it, as I always have.
Good luck to you, Michael. All that paperwork. Oh, it sounds so painful.
You're set on that? Lithania might have only one single spire in the future. I came to Schulingstrom to meet with the Kaiserinnen 7 years ago. Evigegane didn't like my performance, my caution, or maybe my status as Lupikarn's representative. It was Grimmock who saved me. And it didn't end there. I am her voice, and even if she didn't, and now never will, appoint me as one for real. You, me, and even some of the nobility, many Lithanians, believe in the path Grimmock was seeking, right? It might lead us to an era where we won't need spires at all. There's still so much more we can do. The way you're talking, you matured since the last time I saw you, Michael. That's because I'm a growing boy after all.
I like that answer.
Herr Ebenholz, I see that you're done reading the letters, so I'll take my leave now. Whatever your answer is, I hope you'll be happy with it. Your expression is a little hard to read. Grimmock gave me 2 options. I could get another death certificate, not just as Graf Erdica, but also as a Lithanian. By dying, I will obtain true freedom. Or I could return to the Erdica Grafschaft. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young boy. I'm not very good at telling stories, but just listen to me.
Story time. The boy's family served as retainers to a certain aristocracy for generations. From one generation to the next, the retainers fought on the noble's behalf, shedding blood, vying for glory, and bearing any rebukes for them. Until a certain noble came along, birth tradition systems, he saw them all as worthless. Everyone looked the same to him, mediocre, frail, and shallow. So with a piece of paper, he removed the status of every retainer working for his family, and the boy's family obtained their freedom. Afterwards, the noble became the most controversial ruler in the history of the country. His crimes eventually eclipsed his accomplishments. His spire was toppled, and the empire ushered in a new age. Many decisions made during his lifetime were also overruled, including the decree to remove his retainer's shackles. One day, the young boy was told that the deposed king's descendant was granted leniency by the new Kaiser and regained his family's territory. He was told he needed to rush back to the spire to meet his master. Fate seemed to only turn a corner before coming right back again. But in the end, the boy never managed to enter the spire. The newly arrived noble refused to sign the documents that could get him his servant back. This new noble, as I said, was also a boy around his age. Once again, the boy obtained freedom. Oh?
The boy's name was Lessing Mayer, and the newly arrived noble was you, Ebenholz, the 12-year-old Graf Erdika. You'll never remember it, so don't bother trying. Back then, I was so full of anxiety, afraid that someone was playing a prank on me, so I asked a servant to find out what was going on. She said the young Graf's migraine seemed to be upsetting him again. He chased all the attendants out of his room, with many documents scattered across the floor. Don't take this as grumbling about some fateful arrangement. I'm just telling the truth about how one unintentional move from you changed someone else's entire life. You spurned your identity, as well as the regrets and suffering you bore from it. Of course, I'm sure you didn't know better than anyone else how real your pain was. But at the same time, I hope you also know their value, and how we should regard them. Danke for telling me all this, even though you're positively awful at it. Have I ever mentioned what I experienced back at the Genesis Horn? 9. I didn't think it was worth bringing up before, but I suppose I can tell you what I didn't get to tell the Witch King before he vanished in front of my eyes. You have no heir. I am merely a descendant who shares the name Erdika. Before your time, it had yet to carry the either honor or so-called disgrace. This changed because of you alone, so I will change it once more, but never by the same means you used. This is my way of mocking you.
Aw, man, I wish he said that. Like, this is my way of mocking you. That's like the best thing.
This is my shame, my cage. This is my duty, my obligation. This is my path. So you'd already decided back then? Then why did you make that face earlier, while you were reading the Kaiserin's letters? Because there are still other matters, which have suddenly become somewhat tricky to deal with.
Ebenholz! I finally found you!
Hibiscus?
Have you forgotten who you are?
No.
You're a Rhodes Island operator. I'm sure you've read the operator manual you got after onboarding, right? Carefully, from cover to cover. I invite all of you to witness how 2 centuries of sin will come to a conclusion. How fortunate it is that this day of farewell has finally arrived, for I have seen my life's path ahead of me crystal clear.
What's that she's reading?
Operators must go through a strict approval process whenever they apply to leave the landship. How could you just run off after leaving this unintelligible letter? I haven't even had the time to hand it in yet.
Give it back, Hibiscus.
I bet he's cringing at his letter like,
Oh no, she's reading it out loud. Give it back. Stop reading it. I'll be staying in Lithuania for the foreseeable future. I'll return to the Erdika Grafschaft. As I'd like to resubmit my application to disembark, could you please help me to?
You better go see the doctor or Kelsey in person for that.
Is the landship nearby?
How else would I be here? It's not that close, but we do have some business nearby to handle.
You don't seem at all surprised to hear that I want to return to Erdika. We've been on edge ever since we left Weisheim.
That's because you weren't gnashing your teeth spouting nonsense this time. Which means that you've thought this through. bird sounds. Schillingsterm. Bookshelf, Box Street. Viviana looks at the courtyard before her. It is not large by any measure, but still well maintained. The low stone steps surrounding the planted vegetation have been removed and closed with a waxy white oak fence, presumably to prevent the homeowners from tripping over them. A small house sits quietly in the center, embraced by the grass. Freshly painted white walls reflect the morning sun, casting the climbing vines in a radiant glow. Come in, Viviana. You made it. Oh, we get to see him without the helmet.
When Bach was presiding over the Gloria's capital project, he specifically patterned the street after the one he lived in as a child. Doesn't it bear a striking resemblance to Marigold Alley? 2 years ago, the Markgraf returned to their territory to recuperate from illness, so Cora bought this place, but never moved in. It was only after you came to the city that she asked me to come help clean the place up. So how does it look?
It's lovely. Only, these vines don't have to be trimmed so much. Let them grow as they please, or they'll look somewhat stiff.
All right. There's no need to hold back your thoughts, Viviana.
Herr Reiner, this is the first time I'm seeing your face.
It's been so many years. This is the first time I've taken off the Guestless Watcher mask and shown my true face to anyone else. Not since I came to Schwillingsturm.
Does that mean he just kept the mask on, like, always? Even while sleeping? Even while bathing? It just never came off? Interesting.
It's my identity, my duty, and my everything. I guess a Guestless Watcher shouldn't be reminiscing about the mastermind who spoiled Das Kaiser Innensfest and tampered with the Golden Escasats.
Herr Reiner, about what happened that day.
There's no need to blame yourself, Viviana. Whenever Cora set her heart on something, she would never look back. You could only be dragged along with her. Her eyes were always going when she joined... her eyes were already going when she joined the Reich Orchestra on Werner's recommendation that year. I promised Werner that I'd do my best to help the girl he saved. But I gradually came to discover that she had her own feelings, her own judgments, her own desires. She wanted to help Lucinda to save Werner, and even to modify the Golden Escasats. She wanted to ensure that the kind-hearted people would never be tormented by their own regrets ever again. She was a resolute woman, and I've always respected her, but she was even more courageous than I had thought. And so, her fate is sealed. If it were me, I can't even imagine how it would feel. Thank you, Viviana. Have you made your decision?
I want to see Evigegane before coming here. I went to see Evigegane before coming here, and formally declined her offer to become an Empress's voice. As per protocol, new recruits have to enter the spires after the celebration and accept their Majesty's appointments before they can officially assume their positions. But Her Majesty Grimmacht had just lost her voice, and this year's appointment ceremony has been cancelled, so it's an appropriate time to submit my refusal.
If this is what you decided on, then I have nothing to say. It's just that, Werner. Viviana, this was the best and last thing he could arrange for you. Don't blame your father, he just lacked the freedom to do otherwise.
My father let me and my mother down, but he protected so many others. Cora in the Witch King's Spire, House Hochberg, which could have been implicated at any moment, and the countless people of Sturmland forced into a difficult position by a copy of the Golden Escasats. From beginning to end, he was caught up in the vortex of his time. He witnessed, experienced, lost, was powerless to change anything, and could only do his utmost to fend off the storm. He never left a single line, but regardless, this is the poet's way of writing about himself.
Viviana, I'm glad you feel that way, child.
Whether sending me to Kashimirish or arranging my appointment as an Empress's voice, it was never because he thought the paths he chose for me were good. He simply saw me as a child in need of constant protection, a job at which he failed to excel. So I don't blame him.
Then I presume you won't be returning to Sturmland either.
In Kashimirish, I felt like a stranger. The bright neon lights, the noisy arenas, the priced battles, as well as the glory and honor, they're never a part of me. But when I returned to Sturmland, to Schullingsturm, that feeling never went away. To me, Lithanian is just the candles and books I had back in those dark days, the marigolds in bloom everywhere. They also symbolize parting. I've always been able to make my own choices.
Choices. People can only truly face their own weaknesses when they have options.
Her Reiner.
It's nothing. After dusk, Kaiser Innisfest, you said that you needed to inform your friends in Kashimirish about your experience in Kargarake.
I've already sent a letter. I should be receiving a reply soon.
And after that?
To the lighthouse. To where once they were.
What?
Just a line from a book I read when I was young. Allow me to bid you farewell. Lebewohl, Her Reiner. Well, goodbye to you, Mr. Brandt. I'm glad we got to see what his face looked like. Goodbye, Cora. Goodbye, Schullingsturm. Cora! Cora, I still missed you. I liked Cora.
Frau Drost! Phew! Frau Drost, the neural you've been waiting 2 weeks for is finally here. Just up ahead is a crossing.
Oh, the neural she's been waiting for? Uncle! It's Uncle Muinar.
Madame Viviana Drost.
Mr. Muinar.
The neural family has received your correspondence. I just happened to be near Lithanian, so I came as soon as I could. In your letter, you mentioned seeing and even touching a campaign knight's sword spear with the neural family crest. Tell me everything.
So, this is the melody of the present moment? Indeed. What you're hearing are all the emotions I'm feeling. It's no different from what I usually hear. The people of Schullingsturm love you after all. And you love them too. This has never changed. You were there too when I returned to reality from the Genesis Horn. Perform the melody back then for me, Sancta. That's impossible. Oh? I can now record the moment the tears rolled down your cheek. If it did not fall into the depths of your soul to bloom into fruition, then it was merely a drop of water impossible to retain, evaporated by the sun as it fell. I see. The year the spire was built, a scholar gave a public lecture at the Lithanian Academy of Arts. He claimed that people born from arts lacked an innate soul. The very next day he received a transfer, a promotion normally impossible for him to obtain in his lifetime, becoming the Kaiserin's attendant. Unfortunately, he passed just a year later from overworking himself in the depths of the spire, though he left behind a scholarly magnum opus before his death, overturning all of his previous opinions. Would you like to have a look at it, Sancta? The writing is mediocre, so I did not allow its publication, but the emotions contained within are actually quite interesting. Are you planning to lock me up in your spire too?
Who let you in, Sancta? The Kaiserin has not approved of your audience.
Bring him over. Well, now she's approved.
Executor Federico of the Laterano Notorial Hall. I've recently submitted several requests to the Empress's voices for an audience.
So you're the Lateran Saint.
I'm here to recover the fugitive Artoria.
Your sister has done many things in Lithanian.
Former Reich Orchestra, tuner Cora Lovenstein, and the remnants of the Witch King.
Cora? No, I'm not talking about that. The Ludwig's Universitat case concluded long ago.
Das Kaiser Innenfest did go through some incidents, but the final performance was satisfactory. I'm sure you've seen the whole thing, Her Saint. Lithuanian's might and magnificence will leave a deep impression on you, even after you leave.
Am I to take your statement as such? Lithuanian is prepared to refuse any procedural communication with Laterano over Arturi and her criminal offenses?
Are you questioning my decision? Federico hears the sound of swords and the floor colliding. He lifts his head and looks at the Empress of Lithuanian. A Vigeganade stands in the sunset's afterglow, her long skirt infused with a warm glow. But behind her lies a long hallway comprised of the shadows. He counts dozens of guestless watchers standing at attention in silence, their swords resounding.
Federico Giallo, don't move just yet.
Oh, it's cute, whatever that is.
And what is this? An arts device? A Lateran-made drone? I'm just a little machine. On some occasions, you can also treat me as a messenger. And to whom do you belong?
I belong to Laterano. There is someone who wishes to speak with you, Empress of Lithuanian.
Long time no see, Vigeganade.
Your Holiness. He has a cute drone.
Your Majesty, Arturo Giallo has been taken away.
Yes, I saw.
If you wish to keep her here, then we shall not let them leave so easily, even if Evangelista the 11th himself were to show up in person.
Of course he wouldn't. However, that aging Pope has brought us a message. He said that disaster is imminent, and when the time comes, Laterano won't be the only nation affected. He hopes for Lithuanian and Laterano to cooperate and overcome this crisis together.
His usual rhetoric then.
Her Cubstrom said something similar. Within the chaos, right before the illusory throne he had created for himself, he said hope is already lost and eternity is no more. And then after that, I saw them with my own eyes. The enemy hibernating within the chaos. At one point, they came infinitesimally close to our Lithuanian.
Give us the order and we'll bring the Sancta back for you. No, not just her. We'll do anything. No matter the cost. Whatever it takes to find a way to re-enter that chaotic space and bring Grimlock back.
Hildegard. In the final moments before the Genesis horn completely disintegrated, I raised my shield, protecting the twin spires and everyone beneath. But not her.
What? Brunt.
Brunt, watch the sunset with me. I asked her if she wanted to know why. If she wanted to ask why I left everything be, even though I knew it would turn out as it did. Or to ask me why, I turned my back on her at the very last moment. But she didn't. She didn't even hesitate to do what she normally does, turning to face the enemy head-on. As we passed each other, her final words were to wish that I could have the sunset as I wanted.
Grimlock is a great ruler. We will never forget her sacrifice and continue to fight for Lithuanian's future.
So you've made your decision too?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Very good, Brunt. Her Cumstron built a spire in that impossible chaos, naming it after the tower that has long since crumbled in reality. He declared that it would stand eternal. Therefore, I can achieve the same. No, I can surpass it even. I will keep the sunset for all eternity. It will bathe Lithuanian and everything that will belong to Lithuanian in eternal grace. Good luck with that, ma'am. That's the last of it. It's not like you'll be able to stuff that spire down your pocket if you keep staring at it, you know?
But, is it truly impossible?
Professor!
Alright, don't glare at me like that. I'll return the statue I got from the Beshwarog classroom's entrance, if it comes down to it.
You put the thing in my cube thing?
What? It's valuable, you know. I spilled Fernmud blood all over it a century ago.
Let's get a move on. The rest of us are going, even if you aren't. Aw, he just wants to take a souvenir. He's just using the excuse of spilling blood.
Ermengarde, are you really?
There's no way a lich can become a Lithanian. Shouldn't you know that better than anyone else, having been here the longest? The Sarkas have always wanted this land. Hana's liches have always been the nomads of our people. We walk the land collecting and guarding knowledge, protect our tradition from war and strife. So we leave the moment the place we're at isn't stable anymore. And Lithanian's about to undergo some radical changes. Grimlock stay behind in the chaos, so there's no one left to hold Evigegane back.
Heh, Percumshorn, you damn codger. You ought to die a thousand more deaths for the mess you've left us. Feel like coming back to life again and wipe your own behind? An impossible feat even if you were to say yes. And if such an opportunity did exist, we should leave it to the more sprightly youngsters anyway.
Do you mean there's a chance for Grimlock to... Have you come up with a way to enter Kargareg?
Even easy now. It won't happen so soon. But Percumshorn was right. The time of annihilation is nigh. Where will us liches find our place when the entire land is beset by calamity? And that's why we shouldn't bother ourselves with all that trouble. Our nomad days shall come to an end.
Alright, then where to next?
Where else? Tell your new friends at Casdell that the Lich King's court... No, not the court. Tell them that the keepers of the Temple of Knowledge are preparing to return home.
Ooh.
The special correspondence with Evigegane is over. I shared Laterano's caution and once again offered my hopes of advancing together with Lithanian. When the time comes, we will further analyze the incident in Schulinster according to the information brought back by Federico Giallo. It was clearly more than just a revolt instigated by the remnants of the Witch King. Perhaps what happened here was a harbinger of the disaster, much like the warning Laterano received. Evigegane, the only empress of the Lithanian with a voice now. The way she spoke was appropriate enough, and her attitude sufficiently ambiguous. I could even imagine her expressions. All within my expectations. The Lateran Declaration didn't really receive any practical response after the Summits of Nations. From the furthest coastline to the centrum, the disaster remains a secret in many countries. Faith unites Laterano. While division has always been an everlasting blight upon this great land, but if we wait until the disaster connects all nations into one, it'll be too late. We already have a vague outline of what we're facing, but are we still unable to deduce its source?
Analysis complete. Threat level at maximum. Disaster unknown. Path simulation failed. Laterano. Synchronized outbreak.
Laterano will accelerate the development of yet more emergency response mechanisms. I need to reconfirm the list of suitable personnel.
And the list be a mystery. That settles the formalities of the handover. In accordance with the bilateral agreement between Laterano and Lithanian, the Empress's voice and I will ensure that Arturia Giallo returns to Lithanian when necessary.
The aforementioned agreement has been confirmed.
Phew, that's it. I guess this really is goodbye for real.
Michael, feel free to come and find me anytime, whether I'm at Laterano or on Rhodes Island.
Huh? This is new, Her Executor. What's with the human touch in your words today?
Human touch, a uselessly vague descriptor. I just have an intuition. This incident has not yet been fully resolved. To be more precise, what we experienced was just the beginning.
And his intuition is pretty good. Trust his intuition. As one do. You're here at last, Federico. Well, out of those three options, I'm gonna go for the ocean, just because that boss hurt me the most when fighting. Like, this boss wasn't too bad. Then again, it did take a few tries, but it wasn't like that bad in the end. I just had to hit hard and fast. And same, I had a hard time with the non-boss stages than the boss himself for this event, really. Like that tutorial stage that I gotta redo later.
The Empress let you go, but that does not mean I can immediately take you away. The handover procedure was somewhat more tedious than planned.
Fine work, I assume.
You heard Kirkhamshorn's final words within the chaos. What exactly did he tell you?
Get in line. Everyone wants to know, nobles, scholars, the Witch King's remains, Evigeganade. They're all guessing what exactly her Comshorn's legacy will be. Might, power, knowledge? What do you think, Federico?
All I saw was an enormous mass of shadows that didn't exist in reality. Her Comshorn's death 23 years ago was the only fact of the matter. No matter how many images he fabricated for himself, or how many words he spoke, they were all simply echoes of the past.
He may have failed to conquer death, but he did manage to carve all of his emotions into the void itself. His complacency, frustration, loathing, regret, and his expectations. He said our genesis is also our end, and that our abilities are also our incompetence. The invasion of chaos is inevitable. The master of all existence will awaken.
A difficult threat to decipher. Perhaps this is somehow related to His Holiness's attitude. He was the one who entrusted me with this mission in bringing you back to Laterano. Arturia, you said that at the amphitheater that you never left Laterano of your own accord. I freely admit the gaps in our laws, and that emotion may be a supplementary force that we can use to help Laterano face this new threat. But it is undefinable and bound to come with unknown risks. Therefore, I will increase my vigilance over you in order to determine the subjective motivations and possible objective consequences of your actions. I.e., I will shoot to kill if I find anything suspicious.
I am most grateful your beatitude. For with your refined rationality, you're my most suitable executioner. Alright, Federico. If you're not in a hurry to set off on your next journey, then take a good look at the sunset. This is the moment where Shillingstone reveals the pinnacle of its beauty. Such splendor is both fleeting and fragile. Soon, night will fall. Do you still remember the question you once asked me? Laterano seems to stand eternally white and flawless, shining with an everlasting radiance. So where is the first place to light up when the sun goes down? Back then, I promised you that I would bring you to the highest point in Laterano for a look.
I know the answer.
Oh?
I went to the top of the basilica after I met with the Pope and received my sainthood. Once night falls in the city, the streets to the right of the Tower of Revelations will be the first to light up. I even looked into why that is the case. The Lateran Office of Electrical Management has an integrated program for the city's public energy grid. The area I mentioned belongs to the district where the Tower of Revelations is located. Outside, the operator at the management office is left-handed and has a mild case of obsessive-compulsive disorder. He starts off from the leftmost side switch on the control panel every day. The lights start from that street to the right of the Tower of Revelations, then through the Notarial Hall and firearm workshops in Pagus Michelion to the Sunset Chapel of Pagus Saint Marcel, and all the way to the Chapel Square. At night, the streetlights in Laterano illuminate in order.
I should have expected as much, your answer. As the most rational person I know is also...
And they look just as nice as they were before.
I like how detailed he was with his answer. Including the talk about that guy's, like, compulsiveness. Legit. He passes. I was going to tell you that I actually wasn't as frightened as you might have thought back in that tiny room. Even constant darkness and silence cannot obstruct the feelings between two people. Of course, your findings aren't bad at all either. They reminded me that my question does indeed have a definite answer somewhere out there. The lights will turn on again. Even the halos on our heads have never gone out. Light is a constant, while darkness is temporary. As for our emotions, grief and joy may happen only in certain moments of our lives, but we can always feel them, all the time. They have never left us, like how the sunset has never truly left the sky. And now there's darkness.
Bittersweet ending.
Grimmox, though. I hope she's fine. I'm gonna believe in her. She is better than the Witch King, so she can probably happily stay in her spire. She'll be fine, right? We just gotta believe in her.
Oh, Grimmox.
What did I think of the story? This event story was nice. I think it was hilarious how Evanhost was just so sassy like usual, and of course, even to the Witch King he wanted to say this stuff, but no, he couldn't in the end, but it's okay. Cora, though. Out of all the NPCs here, Cora was my favorite. I liked Cora. She was a sweetheart. Too bad she had to go out like that. And I did not expect, like, that one guy, though. That one NPC that's just gonna haunt me. Martha! Martha, my love! Like, come on, dude. You were at the beginning. I remember you. And then you haunted us in the middle. And then you haunted us at the end. Sir, you're trying to make Martha live in my head rent-free. At this point. Gosh darn it. I am excited to see what happens next regarding the calamity that's gonna happen. Hopefully the Pope can help prepare good, because his precautions seem pretty good so far. He's getting more systems in place, so hopefully that helps. And did I get Artoria? Yes, after like, what was it, 277-ish pulls or something like that? And then I went to Pity, aka 300 for W. Because I thought, might as well. I'm close enough already. At this point, yeah, I'm just gonna get my W, my lovely W, after many years. Oh, W. I didn't like erase her yet though, cause I'm being cheap. I am a bad doctor. I am cheap with my resources, aka my EXP tickets. I'm probably only gonna be able to feed W for a while. Cause I still gotta buy out the store for this one. But that can be for later. Not bad at all. But yay, I'm glad that I reached my goal for the night. And it's not too late, so that means I can eat my ice cream that I wanted. Yay! Which is wonderful. And definitely Uncle Muinar probably sees Viviana as a clue. Since it's like, oh, you got to bring out the sword, the neural sword? Oh my, you must tell me more. But when that one messenger said, the neural is waiting for you, I was expecting someone else, Sorry, Uncle Muinar, you were the one I least expected. But it does make sense that he'd go out there. Oh, Uncle Muinar, as one do. But yay, I am satisfied for the night. What weapon from ancient Japan specifically would I wield? Oh man, I don't even know ancient weapons. I'm so bad. But no. For ancient weapons, I want a cursed blade. I want one of those. Yeah, those super duper cursed ones. Why a cursed blade? Because I want to see if who would go crazier first? Me or the blade? It'd probably be annoyed with me, but I would be annoyed with it too. And that way, that just makes us good together, actually. We will be bad together, as one do. But yay, thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and epic gacha luck. I want to eat my ice cream now. Actually, I should check my messages first. Did he even get me ice cream? No! Wait a second. No! Oh no, my dad might have stolen my ice cream. Uh-oh. You know what? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go check on my ice cream now, so I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. I'm gonna be so sad if he took my ice cream. That was supposed to be my reward for the night.